Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, good people of the algorithm. How are you doing? I hope you're having a lovely Saturday. I hope your weekend is coming up to however you want it to look like. I lucked out today. I was supposed to go to work, but I was able to do some dealings and I was able to get off today. So I'm able to bring some content for you. So I hope everybody's doing well. It's snowing here on the East Coast finally, and prayers to everybody else in all the other states that's dealing with snowstorms and things that they're not normally used to. I know how that can get when you're not expecting something. It can get kind of crazy out in the streets and trying to get to work. So I hope everybody's doing well. And shout out to Miss Jalen, how are you doing, ma'am? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. And let's see. Hi, Niall. How you doing? Welcome, sir. This is the first time I've seen you here. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. And oh, hi, J Bone. How you doing? You're in Long Island? Cool, cool, cool. Represent, represent. Good to see you. Good to see you. Shout out to New York. I got New Yorkers in the house. That's right. Us New Yorkers are in the house. Okay, so I have three cases for you guys. One of them is an interrogation. Another one is pretty much leading into the case of interrogation. And the other one is about how sometimes when we're in positions of power, we can get corrupted, right? So we're going to go over these things. Let's see. Hi, TMKC. Hi, darling. Hi, so thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. And Tajia. Tajia is from Romania. Shout out to Romania. Thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you. Abby. Abby, hi. How you doing? Good to see you, ma'am. This is my first time seeing you here. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. You're from Ohio. Shout out to Ohio. You're not that far from us. You're about like what? I think maybe 7 hours away from us. So shout out to you, ma'am. All right. Oh, you're trying to have a good night. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, TM can see. I hear you. Definitely. And King Mr. Drip Reyes, how you doing, young blood? I hope you are doing well, sir. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. All right, so we're going to get into the first one. I want to go over this one because this is a very long case, okay? It is the case of Juan Cortez. Juan Cortez was a border patrol back in 2020, and he was caught up in a lot of criminal activities across the Mexico border. And we're going to look at his case and his fate because I think that he was the one who actually had the death penalty. Come to find out, he had unalived 3 other women within this criminal investigation. So we're going to look into that now. Let's see. Wait, hold on. I have to shout out another person. Hello, Problem Child. How are you doing? The original corner boy. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, hi, Roy. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Shout out to Kentucky. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. All right. I'm loving all the places. Please let me know where you're coming in and where you're chiming in from. I definitely appreciate it. So while you're doing that, I will be getting into this. Let's go on. All right. Let me share my screen. And this is not the one. I'll show that one later. Let me give you the other one. Here it is. Okay, so we're going over the case of Juan Cortez. So if anybody's interested in looking it up themselves, it's the case on Juan Cortez, a ex-Border Patrol, ex-veteran. Okay, here we go.
Laredo, Texas is home to one of the earliest crossing points along the Mexico-United States border. It is also the nation's biggest inland port of entry. It is this crossing point that has enabled Laredo to flourish while blending the two distinct cultures of the U.S. and Mexico. However, towns located along the Mexico-U.S. borders are often associated with a sense of lawlessness due to their statistically high crime rates. This is why you'll often see these areas in television and film portrayed as hotspots for illegal activity. Crimes such as drug trafficking, extortion, violence, and corrupt public officials tend to overshadow the redeeming qualities that cities like Laredo have to offer. In this video, we will be covering a case that not only takes place in this uncompromising environment, but is also a prime example of the harsh crimes that can be found within it. On September 3rd, 2018, a local Webb County rancher from Laredo, Texas, discovered a dead body on Jeffries Road, off of Highway 255. The body was in plain sight on the side of the road and had multiple gunshots to the head. It was later determined to be the body of 29-year-old Melissa Ramirez, a sex worker and a mother of two. The day Melissa was killed, her mother went down to San Bernardo Avenue, where sex workers often spend their time. She asked someone named Claudine Loera if she had seen her daughter, but to no avail. 10 days later, on September 13th, 2018, another body was discovered on the outskirts of town, once again on the side of the road, with multiple gunshot wounds to the head. It was the body of Claudine Loera. Claudine was a single mother of 5. She had struggled to find a path in life and became heavily addicted to drugs, which fed her depression and guilt. She resorted to sex work in order to provide for her family. Claudine recognized the extent of her drug abuse and even confided in her mother about it just weeks before her murder. Tragically, any hopes of her turning her life around were shattered by a heartless killer. One day after Claudine's body was found, a distressed woman, topless, ran up to a Texas trooper at a gas station, claiming that she had just been attacked and that she knew where her attacker lived. It was 26-year-old Erica Pena. She said that her attacker was a prior customer named David, who had brought her to his house. Aware that David was a Border Patrol agent, Erica asked him if he knew anything about her friend Melissa Ramirez. Following this question, Erica said that his behavior transitioned, raising her suspicions. On the way to Bernardo Avenue, where he was dropping her off, she asked once more about Melissa, at which point David allegedly snapped and pulled out a gun. She panicked and exited the vehicle immediately, her attacker ripping off her blouse in the process. Erica Pena was the only victim to escape this killer. Law enforcement immediately went to the attacker's home, but he was already gone, so a manhunt ensued. Police swiftly issued a be on the lookout, known as a BOLO, for 35-year-old Juan David Ortiz, a father, husband, and former U.S. Navy medical technician who was employed as an intelligence supervisor for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. A few hours later, they located Juan at a gas station after noticing his truck and confronted him.
Turn around! Turn around!
Now, there is nothing wrong with being 76 Spitfire. Everybody is welcome. I know I probably look young. I'm a 40-year-old woman, so there is nothing wrong with it, all right? We are here to enjoy great cases and dissect them together, so please be active in the chat. I do truly appreciate it, okay? So far, this is what's happening. This Border Patrol ended up unaliving a woman. And every woman that started to catch on, he ends up trying to unalive them, but one victim was able to actually get away. So now they're on pursuit for him because he kind of ran out of Dodge. He didn't get to unalive this woman, so she was able to tell and show who was it, and they found out it was one of their guys. So now they're looking for him.
Turn around! Turn around!
Stop right there. Stop, 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 stop. Stop. Is this your truck? Is this your truck? Okay, all right. Turn around. Turn around.
Get on your knees!
Turn around. I'll explain to you right now. Turn around. Okay, I'm going to explain to you. Okay, Bradshaw, I'm going to do the talking. All right, sir, we got a positive ID with some... This truck right here is matching with the potential, with the murders that's been happening within the past 2 weeks. We want to do an interview. We want to do some questioning. We just need for you to cooperate with us, okay? All right, fine. Make my way. Just turn around and make my way this way, okay? Turn around. Just turn around. Turn around, please. Turn around. Hey, 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 hey. He's in here, bro. Yeah.
David Ortiz! Come out! State police!
After running from the police, Juan was eventually located and apprehended following a short pursuit. He was placed under arrest and transported back to the police station before taking part in an interrogation that lasted more than 9 hours, led by Captain Frederico Calderon. However, we're not quite ready to focus on the interrogation just yet, so we'll get there shortly. Following this taped interrogation, Juan David Ortiz was charged with 4 counts of murder, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawful restraint, and was held on a $2.5 million bond. The victims included Melissa Ramirez and Claudine Luera, as mentioned before, as well as 35-year-old Giselda Alicia Hernandez Cantu and 28-year-old Janelle Ortiz. All 4 victims were sex workers and murdered in a very similar fashion. Due to this case being one with a potential death penalty, and also due to the COVID pandemic, about 5 years had passed before the trial of Juan David Ortiz was set in motion. Before the trial.
So I want to state here is that that's sometimes what happens when people get in some form of authority and power, right? They abuse it. There's a reason why he was going after women who are sex workers, women who have children, women who are using this as their only source or their primary source of income. Because the society, the way how they look at these women, they're not really painted in the I guess the best light, right? Our society, especially our country, is hell bent of nuclear families, married couples, mom and dad, children in the household. That is how our society is and has always been. So anything outside of that can get like a brown nose, a side-eyed, or something of that sort. So these particular people of power, because it's not only just a man thing, it's just being in authority in general. They will always go after people who live these different alternative type of lifestyles because they think that these people don't care about them, right? They're assuming that people don't care about them. They don't have the same type of support system as everybody else, because if they did, they wouldn't be doing these type of activities or working these type of jobs. So they tend to be a prey to many people going forward. Yeah, I'm against. I'm against it too because it's not safe. It's definitely not safe, and I think that shouldn't be a resort for anyone, male or women. It shouldn't be a resort to anyone to have to go to that level because when you think about intimacy in that way, when it comes down to sex, you think about something that is important, special, and value, right? That you want to share with someone, not as a form of commerce. So. But let's go on.
Trial began. The Webb County District Attorney met with the families of all 5 victims. Ultimately, he requested for the death penalty to be dropped. Instead, they wanted to pursue life without parole for Juan. The main reason for this decision is that it somewhat simplifies the case and would potentially shorten the trial from a few months to a few weeks, which subsequently may also increase the prosecution's chances of winning the trial as well. On November 28, 2022, the trial of Juan David Ortiz began. The trial lasted a total of 8 days. In their opening statement, prosecutors said that Ortiz confessed to the murders, including the shooting of Janelle Ortiz, whose body investigators had not yet discovered when they questioned him.
Throughout this trial, we are going to bring you evidence. We are going to, yes, we're in Bexar County, but through the evidence, through technology, through photos, through videos, and through testimony, we will take you to that dark and horrible places that this happened. You will hear the evidence in his own words. I wanted to clean up the streets. And in Spanish he says, these people are these are dirt. Through the evidence, we will take you to those last moments. To those last moments of these women's lives.
Throughout this statement, the prosecution really pressed the notion that the evidence would speak for itself, and that they had a surviving victim who will be testifying against Juan. However, During the defense's opening statement, they would put forth the notion that their client was a broken man as a result of war-related PTSD, psychoactive drugs, alcohol abuse, and blackouts.
So I knew that the defense attorney was going to take this route with them because that was pretty much the only route that they can take. And they're not really looking for him not to do any crime. They're looking to give him the lowest time possible. He was going to do time regardless because there's no excuse to be sexually assaulting and unaliving sex workers, right? Especially you being a border patrol, right? So he was going to get charge regardless, but their job is to try to get him the lowest time as possible. So they're going to add in the fact that he was a veteran. They're going to add in the fact that he has PTSD. They're going to add in the fact that the stresses of the job and being around criminal activity for a very long time can influence you to participate in it. And they're going to hope that that's going to stick enough to the trial or to the jury for them to be like, okay, because given the circumstances in totality, maybe we should give him just life in prison and not the death penalty. What the prosecutor was doing too with opening cases, they were stating how this man was in a position of power and he abused it. The simple fact that he used hiding under his badge and his gun to do these things to these women because he felt that these women didn't have a voice, nor did they have anyone to advocate for them. So they were easy pickings, right? So those are the two different opening statements between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. Let's go on to see what else happens during the trial.
And continued by claiming that his confession was coerced.
One of the things we would ask you to focus on is the investigation that the Webb County Sheriff's Office
Hi,
conducted
Mr. RJ.
together with the Texas
Thank you for
Rangers.
coming back.
Together with the report writing, the lack of reports, the lack of protocol,
He
and
most
how
likely
they,
did scope fire.
just jump to certain conclusions. Now, we move to the interview or the interrogation.
So Marie asked a very good question, right? She said, was he actually a veteran? So there's two different types of veterans, okay? And I'm going to tell you that because I'm a veteran, right? You have veterans who served at a certain wartime, and then you have veterans who are active now, right? So I think it was after the date of 2001, anybody who joined and served in the armed forces will automatically be perceived as a veteran, right? But there's a certain different type of veterans. You have World War II veterans, you have Korean veterans. Those are different type of veterans. But now anybody who joins during while we're in wartime, you are a veteran. So even if he got discharged or honorably discharged and he only served one term, he will still be considered a veteran because he didn't get dishonorably discharged. Let's go on.
More properly stated of Mr. Ortiz.
Thank you so much, Brent
He tells
Anderson.
him,
I'm
"Look,
still in though.
I'm a
I'm
war
still in,
veteran.
but thank you.
I was in
Appreciate
Iraq.
it.
Several months ago, I started having nightmares. I started having post-traumatic stress disorder. I couldn't sleep. I went to the VA, and they gave him a bunch of psychotic
Oh,
pills.
thank you so much, Mr.
And he
Reed.
gave him the name.
with
There's
Super
somewhere.
Cat. I
There's a bunch of
appreciate
them.
you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank
You know,
you
he's
for
under
your
a lot of
service,
stress.
too.
He starts drinking. And then, yes, the issue of blackouts. But he actually, and by he I mean Mr. Ortiz, says, look, I've had blackouts, I'm broken, I'm tired. This is a defeated man. He's denying having been involved in these murders.
As it turns out, Juan was part of the Veterans Administration and was given medication for a post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis. Many people with PTSD experience blackouts, among other symptoms. These
you most
blackouts may
welcome,
involve
Marie.
a
You most
dissociation from reality, or they may include flashbacks to a previous time in the person's life. Experts say that there is a robust relationship between the incidence of PTSD and elevated rates of anger, aggression, and violence. The prosecution then called Erica Pena to the stand in an attempt to solidify the evidence being presented to the jury.
Okay. So before we see the evidence that she presented to the jury, there is true, right? You could have PTSD. There is some form of medications that they can give to individuals who are suffering PTSD. We don't know the side effects. Some people have good side effects. Some people have bad side effects with them, meaning that they get very angry. They have to have anger management. They have to go to counseling and therapy. But even with any form of medication, guys, you have to actually get that regulated, right? Because sometimes you might have to have it increase, sometimes you might have to have it decrease. It's depending on how the medicine is working for you. But my whole point is, I don't believe whatever evidence this lady is going to bring to the court, I don't believe it's going to stick, due to the simple fact is that if he had PTSD and he had medications, how was you able to still join the border patrol? Why didn't they take that into consideration once they was doing the initial investigation on you to join the border patrol? If they felt that you could have been a liability, they should have had, probably, push that to the side, or maybe put you in a different department when working with border patrol, not actually being a patrolman. So I don't think it's going to necessarily fly, but let's see what they say.
Ms. Peña, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Erica Isamar Peña.
Do you know why you're here today?
Yes.
Do you know a person by the name of Juan David Ortiz
Yes.
or David Ortiz? Can you identify him here in the courtroom or what he's wearing? You can please point to him. Do you see him?
Yes. In black.
In black? And from where you're sitting, he's seated in which chair?
In the corner.
In the corner. Okay. What do you know him as? Well,
What did I knew him as?
Yes.
David was a friend.
Okay.
Erica continues to testify regarding exactly how she met David, how long the two had been friends, and then retells her sequence of events from that day. On cross-examination, the defense attacked the prosecution's star witness by bringing her credibility into question, throwing questions at her regarding her $300 to $400 a day drug addiction and how it may affect her ability to remember things clearly.
So again, these cases are really hard, right? Because it's the taboo reputation that is around women who are in prostitution or sex workers, right? We know this, a lot of them has to, I won't say have to, but a lot of them do dibble dabble in drugs and all that stuff like that, and alcohol and stuff, because, some of them are doing this out, pretty much against their will. They're doing it because they feel like this is the only way they have to survive and or feed their families and stuff like that. So when you're a person in destitute in that way, you would, you take coping mechanisms, and usually alcohol and drugs are coping mechanisms to deal with the day-to-day things that you can't deal with, right? Like they're the crutches. So it's hard for these individuals in these type of cases to stand up for themselves or to let them know what really happened, because there's a lot of things that's going on within the career field of prostitution, right? You have to have a sense of manipulation. You have to have a sense of creating a fairy tale or illusions in men's mind, or whoever comes to service for you to actually get paid. So they take those things into consideration, the nature of one's profession, and why would, if they could use that to make an income, why wouldn't they use that to get out of trouble? Why wouldn't they use that to change the narrative if they if something happens, to save themselves? So that's what the cross-examination is. It's to rip her to shreds. It's to make everybody believe that she cannot be credible for anything that she says, due to the simple fact that her profession is to manipulate someone. So what makes you think that she is not manipulating the situation now? Let's go on.
Now, back on October the 3rd of 2019, you were in a rehab facility when you testified in court. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And, that's what, maybe 4 years ago? And today, are you in a rehab facility again?
No, I'm not in the rehab.
Okay, but you said you were on methadone.
I take methadone.
Okay, is that medically prescribed?
Yeah, that's medically prescribed.
Okay. And if you were in rehab back in 19, why do you need methadone today?
Why do I need methadone today?
Yes.
Because I would have my downfalls.
Okay. So I gather the rehab wasn't successful back in 2019.
I guess you can say
Okay.
that.
Well, we know on September 14th,
Yeah.
2018, you claimed that you were with Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
And according to your testimony, it was for prostitution.
Yes.
Okay. And we know, because you've testified, that you have a daily habit.
That I had a daily habit.
Yes, I'm not saying right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking either 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
And so your daily habit consisted of maybe sometimes up to $300 worth of heroin, black tar on top of that
Yeah.
per day, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And about $100 of crack cocaine.
Yes.
You would agree with me that that's a lot of drugs to use daily,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And then, would it be fair to say then that you've been injecting yourself maybe for the last 10 years?
On and off.
On and off.
Yeah.
But at that time, you were still getting high regularly.
Yeah, but to the point where I know what's going on. I was high, but I know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll assume every person that uses mind-altering drugs
Yeah.
claim that, right? A guy that drinks a 12-pack, he's gonna go, "Hey, I know what's going on."
Yeah, I
And
know
he's
what's
like, right?
going on. I'm alert. I'm still alert.
Uh-huh. I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive.
No, it's okay.
Are you high right now? Somewhat high?
No.
Are you on the? You're not here totally clear-headed, are you?
Yes, I am.
Are you under the effects of methadone?
Yes.
Okay.
I
and
take methadone.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I do.
And-
I'm on methadone.
Okay, and methadone in essence is a synthetic heroin, correct?
Methadone is just it's to block any triggers.
Well, no, what it is actually is a synthetic heroin that is utilized to avoid.
Being argumentative with her, she's not. This is not relevant questioning. He's being argumentative with her.
Let me address it.
I'm kind of glad that the prosecutors actually stepped in on that one, right? Because the narrative that he was doing was he was trying to pin it on the fact that she's still using narcotics, right? And she's using a synthetic one. So it's a one that is a less harsher and can be controlled than her actually using heroin, right? So it makes her actually still more functioning than how heroin, when you take it, how you can become very non-responsive with that situation. And he was trying to throw it on her heavily to make her know, like, listen, how can we even take any of her statements seriously when she's literally under the influence now while she's standing here giving her statement? It's very it's a smart move, but yeah, it was definitely on the prosecutor to stop it right there, because then that's literally throwing their witness right out the out the water. The witness won't be credible anymore, and it could be stricken where the jury can't even use her testament. Let's go on.
This way, ask a question because you're giving testimony instead of asking a question. You're explaining what that is. That you're not a witness, understand? So,
But it's been asked and
Now,
answered.
Toki, can we just wait
Although
until
this
he
defense
actually
attorney
get in the
is simply
office
just
first?
doing
We
his
already
job and
planning for
trying
4
his
years
best to
later?
provide one with an
Jesus.
adequate legal representation, there is still one word that best describes the feeling that a person may get while viewing this cross-examination: dirty. On day 2, prosecutors showed the jury the body cam footage from Juan being identified, chased down, and arrested, and had one of the Webb County SWAT team members, No Gonzalez, recount his arrest of Juan. Over the next 4 days, the trial focused on the 9-hour recorded interrogation, which we can finally view. The jury was first shown a segment of the interrogation footage where Juan explains his behavior to the detectives. He said that he had never been arrested in his life and proceeded to outline the same struggles that the defense had mentioned in their opening statement.
Why are we here? Yes, me. You were in the military también, ¿verdad? 8 years active duty on this. Were you having any issues with the military?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
I got
that's why she's
PTSD.
using that.
They put me on paroxetine, which is Paxil, for anxiety and depression. Okay. You don't want to write it down. For Paxil, for anxiety and depression. They put me on Divalproex for irritability and anger. Okay. They put me on Trazodone for sleeping due to nightmares. Okay. They put me on gabapentin for migraine headaches. They put me on another one, I don't know the name of it, for that's the high blood pressure. And I was squared away, motherfucker, until I started going to the VA and my life was a shit. So I have never been arrested in my life. I have never had that. I'm sure you guys are able to America. Going to the VA, my life got me here. They had me on this 12-week program where I had to go talk to a psychologist. I've seen a psychiatrist a bunch of times. You don't know why you ran?
I went into the restroom at the gas station. Okay. I came out and I saw a trooper. Another trooper. And one I had his rifle. Put your hands up. Okay. You know, like, don't put your hands up. Put my hands up and I go, sir, you're freaking the fucking crap out of me right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay. Sir, right now, are you the owner of that truck? Yeah, it's my fucking truck. Don't fucking move. I'm like, God, don't move. Yeah, you know, like, turn around. Like, turn around. And took off running.
When was the last time you shot this?
I don't remember, man.
Give or take?
Probably the last time I called, which was once a quarter. So I was supposed to call this coming Tuesday, so subtract 3 months from that.
The detectives continued by asking Juan when the last time his service weapon was fired. He insists that the last time it was discharged was months before, but the detectives aren't buying it. They ask him the same question several more times throughout the interrogation in hopes of Juan admitting to the murders. Most of this interrogation, however, is Juan sitting in the room alone, sometimes humming to himself, sometimes sitting with his head in his hands, and other times mocking the troopers who chased him.
Who's the trooper I smoked, man? The trooper couldn't keep up with me, dude. Tell him he needs to work out some more, man. 2 of them.
Leaving the suspect alone in the interview room for prolonged periods of time is a common technique used by officers as they conduct an interrogation. Although this has proven to be fairly effective, it is also somewhat controversial and frowned upon by some experts. This technique tends to increase the likelihood of confessions, but there are 2 negative side effects it can have on an investigation. It invites claims of duress. A frequent cause for a confession to be suppressed is the allegation that the interrogation was too lengthy, resulting in duress or an oppressive environment. Allows the suspect time to focus on the consequences. One thing that is not wanted in an interrogation is a false confession. When suspects are left alone to stew in their own thoughts, potential negative consequences of withholding a confession can weigh. Happens to lead to a skewed or false confession that doesn't reflect what really happened. Some acceptable circumstances for an investigator to step out of the room, including regain emotional control. If the suspect draws an emotional reaction out of the investigator, it is likely a good idea to step out and compose themselves to verify a suspect's statements. However, in this case, everybody is calm, and the suspect isn't really giving any statements for the investigators to verify in the first place. After over an hour of Juan sitting in the room alone, Captain Calderon confronted Juan about Erica's allegations. Despite Erica claiming to have known Juan as a regular customer for the past 5 months, he responded with evasive answers, insisting that he did not know her.
You're very obviously not a bad person. We understand that you go through some stuff that sometimes other people aren't going to understand. And I'm asking you to explain some of the stuff that happened and why you feel like you need to keep referring to us like we should.
So the detectives was using the tactic of letting them sit by themselves a little bit, feeling that they have more details or they're getting more details that can incriminate him. So that usually tends to get the suspect in a panic. But the defense attorney, they're going to use that the simple fact that his interrogation went for 9 hours, you actually put this person in duress. And because he might want to have to go home, get something to eat, take a shower, he would have had gave you any statement just to get out of that office, right? So that's what the defense attorney is going to lead into in reference of this interrogation. But the simple fact is that he's saying that he doesn't even know the victim that got away, but she has already came up there and said that she have known him a long time. He has actually been one of her clients for up to 5 months. It's very, very, very telling. Yeah, it is too long. It's too long and inconsistent. And then he just started talking about all this medication and stuff that he's on. And I'm just wondering, if he had all that going on, how was he able to get a gun and a badge, really? Like, it's just too much going on with him. Hey, Flora, how you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. Good to see you. Mr. Ray J says that's called letting them stew. Yes, the longer they sit alone, the more they want to give out. Yes, exactly, Mr. Ray J. Shout out to you for confirming the things that I'm saying. I'm glad to have law enforcement around with me, so people don't think I'm just talking out of my butt. Let's go on.
You should know this and you should know that. I don't know what you're referring to when you say that. But I do know you picked someone up earlier. That I do know. Wait, huh? I don't know where you picked her up, but I know you picked someone up earlier. Into your house. I know you took it to your house. She was able to describe your house, your address, the inside of your house, your backyard, describe you by name. But like we said, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to say, that's not my truck. Oh, okay. Yeah, on the video. Can you explain to us what happened in there? You were there. Okay. And you were there with somebody you knew. Somebody you picked up for, somebody you talked to before.
Yes, Marie, it's always going to be really hard to hear some of these suspects because when they're in the interrogation room, they start mumbling. Haven't you noticed that they start mumbling, or they talk real low, or they say things that can't even be picked up by the captions? I've noticed that. Sometimes I even have caught myself having to actually look at the actual video while I'm presenting it to you guys, just to see what they're saying, because I can't even hear it myself. So I apologize for that.
Somebody when you by name. Yeah. Say something got out of hand. A little bit of a disagreement in there in the car. And that's why we're here. So can we get to that? What happened? Was that person in the car? I don't recall it.
So those are the stages.
I'm pretty sure you do. And
the final is
that's why the troopers.
That makes sense.
That's why we were looking for you. So we're looking for you because what happened at the gas station.
This went on for several hours. Juan continually denied any involvement with Erica, even when the investigators confronted him with items that she had left in his truck. When shown the pictures of the victims, Juan denied knowing them, crumpled up the pictures, and tossed them to the side.
Take a look at your victims one last time. No? No. Yeah, I guess. How many rounds is this on that? You tell me. You tell me. You're the one who did it. That's what she looked like before. I have no idea if she's never seen it happen like that.
Hello, my Don. How are you doing? Are you coming from us from Hawaii? Shout out to Hawaii. I loved it when I was there.
I don't care. Not this one, right? Not the one that ran away from me today. Not that one. Not even that one. That ran out of your truck. The one you were driving around town. Not even that one. Okay. Yeah. Then take those, so they're going to give you some stuff to wear.
And after about 6 hours, Juan eventually began to break, asking to see a picture of his family and for his cuffs to be removed.
Yeah, I started, can you please take this off? I'm not going to attack you. Not done. Good. Break her up. Mm-hmm. That's
Daddy, I'm really bad right now.
Just raining something to me. I was trying to miss down it. I'm really bad right now. Like, okay, let's go from. So we're going, back through.
Some money to get something.
There's $20.
Melissa goes in.
That was like rule, like they're in and out making fried chickens. The Medbay sale.
She goes in and comes out.
This is another. He's like,
Hey, dude, wake up, dude.
Get up.
Dude, get up. The dude.
It's been a while, but I'm just driving around to get done and what the
I dump her, and they're gonna say I did something.
No, but then Erica's probably with her. Like, dude. So I get 35 north and me driving. And I'm just driving. I exited at the 18. It's not the rest area.
Where the rest area is at? But stop. You can stop. I have to go.
With my friend Jeffrey.
So I go in, and you know that.
Yes, absolutely, RJ. Thank you again. So Mr. RJ said, pay attention to the way the detectives moves closer to him. This is to show trust and feeling a sympathy. He is using the brother-to-brother talk tactic with him. Yes, correct. And before he did that, Mr. RJ, he used the ego up technique, which I have explained before on this channel. When they start off saying, hey, you just made a mistake. You're not a bad guy. It's feeding into someone's ego to make them more comfortable of explaining their side of what they have done. But thank you so much, sir. Let's go on.
Did you try to assault? Did that go?
She got out?
When it happened, you guys already know there's still. Right.
I knew, wake up the day when
I did not plan.
I know. And you know what, dude? You know what? I knew that shit might be spring a moment.
That's the truth. That's wrong with them.
Did you pull her out of the truck or shoot her out in the street?
Shut on her own. Then she got there.
Where the fuck are we, dude? I come there. Bitch. You a fucking idiot or what, dude? Are you an idiot?
Yeah, that's okay.
You know, this shit already happened.
There, he's on, I think it was pictures. I got in my truck. and busted a U-turn. So I can Jeffrey still off like a 3-point. Yeah, I went back onto the people there. Went back on 83. And I go straight to my house. I go to the way. It's in a shower and back laid down. And, did anybody see you doing Roger? It was just you. You never took your wife's truck and picked up? No, my truck. Right. So it's been the only time that you picked up these girls you were in your truck? Yeah. Erica knows how this is that. Okay. So she knows something. Melissa had something on her. Do you remember what she was holding? Holding? Yeah, she had something in her hand. Remember what it was? No. It was a type of fluid, type of candy. Something like picked up for her. Something she would have. I bought her she liked the Mexican no, it's not Cheetos. What's that one? Staki. She liked the Mexican. What about M&M? No. The other one very honest, we know it was coming from Char, or she didn't see it coming? No. She was in a deep sleep, and then she woke up and she was just nothing off. Yeah. And that's it. It's over. When she squat down and take a piss, she fell down. And I was paranoid as a motherfucker the next day. I was like, oh. And I really did get up and shaved everything, went to work. So then I felt bad. But then I told myself, I tried to convince myself to do the pickup. Like, I was told you had 8 kids, but I'm not sure. I was told you had 8 and the state has custody of them. And I was just telling myself, do this chick. I'm like, why are you shooting that? Because she has a bunch of kids. The state has them. She's on the street all day, every day. You should not work for kids. That they get police. There's no reason to feel sorry for her. I mean, that's what I was trying to convince myself. And then I just played it cool and I wrote out. And then I was continuing driving on time, but this is where the monster came out.
The investigators just listened to Juan admit.
He really just destroyed himself, really, right? Oh, okay, let's see. RJ, before I say my statement, let's see. RJ says, if I may, MJ, I'm not defending anyone here, but I have to say, if you are ever being interrogated, exercise your right to remain silent. Yes. Mr. AJ, I was just about to say that. You are reading my mind, sir. I was just about to say that. Listen, guys, y'all really have the right to remain silent, okay? You really do. And I think you really need to utilize and exercise that right? Because he literally just told on himself. He told that he believed that this woman was beneath him, sorry. He just told that he believed that this woman's beneath her, and he kept on convincing himself that she is lower than him, she's lower class, she's scum of the earth, and that he can get away and do whatever and not have any remorse for it. So now the detectives can put aside that this is not an accident. This is not an accident of what happened. There wasn't no oops and I made a mistake. This is somebody who had clear thought in their minds of how they view this person and what they believe that they can do to this person. He should have just and just got a lawyer, right? Because we all know that when it comes down to the courts, it's really not about right or wrong. It's about what can be proved. Okay? It's about what can be proved and what seems more reasonable. That's what it's about. This is how we have killers who are able to escape the court system. And this is how we have innocent people who actually has to face crimes that they didn't commit. Because it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about who has the better case. That's what it's all about.
To executing 4 victims, all execution style, bodies left carelessly on the side of the road, and his reasoning was to clean up the streets. Naturally, investigators reacted by providing him with a burger, fries, and a drink.
Exactly, Donald.
I'm working on that pick, okay? It's the one in particular, man. It's my kids are sitting on the counter in the kitchen. My wife's right there. It's that one in particular. The kids are sitting on the kitchen counter, and my wife's right there. Perfect. Thank you.
An interesting phenomena amongst the true crime community is the fascination with suspects, criminals, and murderers alike being provided food. People often express in comment sections and forums how infuriated they are that a monster is being treated as if they didn't commit those crimes at all. However, it is important to remember that in the United States, along with most countries, a criminal suspect is entitled to humane treatment, no matter how heinous the alleged crime. If the suspect is not treated humanely, for instance if they are deprived of food and water, or if they are beaten either during the police questioning or while in a holding cell, it is most likely a violation of that suspect's rights. It is important for law enforcement to abide by these laws mindfully in order to avoid claims of duress, as mentioned before. At this point in the trial, it was
Exactly. It's very, very important to law enforcement or any form of authority. Do not take matters into your own hand. Please stick with the policies and guidelines, because if a suspect gets harmed or injured, or they can come up with a case of being in duress or being coerced or being violated or given shut up money or threatened by their family or somebody being injured if they don't do what they say, this can give you a mistrial. This can give you a mistrial, and nobody wants a mistrial, especially the prosecutors, right? Because all that work they've done to try to build up a case on a suspect for whatever crime it is going to go right out the window. Is going to be set back to almost 6 months to a year, which they're going to have to build up a new case by entering new things into discovery. And that takes time, right? And then we also know that sometimes when we have mistrials, those individuals who could be a murderer, a rapist or something, they get to go home until that trial happens. They get to be let on the street. They get to have an ankle monitor. That's why that happens. So the prosecutor always wants to go in for the kill. They don't want no hiccups. Once they get all the information in detail, they want to present it to the trial. They want it to go smoothly and it could be clear to the jury or the judge that, hey, this is what we're presenting, all the evidence. This person did it. This is why we believe he did it. Without reasonable doubt, give us a guilty verdict. That's what they want. That's what they want. Nobody wants a mistrial. Though most of the time, suspects, they will want a mistrial depending on what type of crime it is. A mistrial can work for the actual suspect because it gives them more time. But in other cases, let's say, for example, if a mistrial, let's say they're up for murder in this situation, right? They're up for murder, whatever not, they have to spend more time in jail. They don't want a mistrial. They want to come back with a clear not guilty and be removed of all charges and get to go home. So they try to refrain from having mistrials and anything that can affect it. So please just follow all the rules and the guidelines and let the laws of the land, let it go the way it needs to go.
Day 5 out of 8. The jury just finished watching the interrogation, and now it was time for the cross-examination of the man leading the interrogation, Captain Federico Calderon. It was revealed that Captain Calderon did not tell Juan that he was being recorded during the interrogation, and at another point in the interrogation, Ranger E.J. Salinas said there are two sides to every story, and then asked Juan, "Are you willing to tell us?" To which Juan responded, "No."
And you know you're in custody right now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you willing to tell us your side of the story for what happened, or no? Okay. That's just read your rights. Okay. Yeah.
Juan's attorney used this to claim that Juan's right to plead the fifth was violated. But Calderon said that he did not see this as Ortiz invoking his Fifth Amendment right. The defense also pointed out that Ranger Salinas attempted to induce Juan to talk by saying that the district attorney was present and that he could put in a good word with the DA if he does.
No, we have the district attorney's office.
You see why I said that it's very important about how you do things? They didn't read him his initial rights. Of course, the defense attorney was going to go and say that he wasn't read his initial rights and he didn't know that he was recorded. And now when they lead on saying, hey, yeah, I can get in touch with the district attorney, whatever not, they're going to paint it as coercion. Right? You know that this man is in a dire need. He's in a stressful situation. His life is on the line. And now you're offering him, if he gives you this, then you're able to scratch his back. That's the way the defense attorney is going to lead with this. So you got to be very careful with what you do.
Right here, the DA himself. Okay. So now's the time. If you want us to put a good word in for you, you need to. What do you mean there's no word?
Well, there's always three sides to the
We cooperated with you. We talked to your wife like you asked us to. We spoke to her. She left next to me.
That's what you got.
What did she do? She was worried about it. So she didn't know what was happening, and she wanted answers. And we told that she could hear from you later.
On day 6th, Dr. Corrine Stern, the chief medical examiner for Webb County, took the stand. 16 autopsy photos were presented to the jury. Unfortunately, the photos displayed to the jury are unable to be shown here on YouTube due to their graphic nature. However, the reactions from the victim's family, as well as the jury and the expert witness who is testifying, should be enough to fully understand just how horrifying of a state these victims were left in.
Would you please state your full name, Dr. Stern?
Yes, Dr. Corrine Elizabeth Stern.
And what is your occupation?
I am the Chief Medical Examiner for Webb County, Texas. This is what we call an identifying photo. This is after we've cleaned her up, and it's an ID photo of her face.
Now, I'm going to go back to your pathological diagnosis and start with gunshot wound of the jaw.
Okay.
We explained what you observed with that injury.
Okay, so she had a gunshot entrance wound. It was on the right side of the jaw in the mandible. That's the lower part of the jaw. So the upper part's your maxilla. This is the mandible, the lower jaw. So it was on the right side in the lower jaw.
Shout out to Texas. How's the snow out there?
It was a round defect, and surrounding the entrance wound where the bullet actually pierced through was gunpowder stippling. That just means they're unburnt grains of gunpowder. Okay, so she had another gunshot entrance wound on the right side of the neck above the one we just described. It was also a round defect.
Luciano, how you doing, sir? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. I just want to say that it's very heartbroken to see this mom, right? She's like distraught. The more and more that they're showing photos of her daughter and what happened to her and where she was shot at. They don't even have to show the pictures, but she can't even hold herself together. She's like literally breaking apart every moment that they continue to talk about all the entry rooms and where she was hit at and what happened. It's really, really, really bad. Oh, it's melting now? That's pretty cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's good.
And she also had
We'll go ahead and excuse at least a juror. You want to help him out? Excuse him for now. Out there, maybe. Yeah. We'll go ahead and excuse the jury just for a few minutes. Remind him not to discuss the facts of the case. He can be seated. He doesn't have to stand just yet. If he let him. But everyone else can step up. If you want to go.
The court had to take a brief hiatus while tending to a juror that fainted at the sight of one of the injuries shown. But they were right back to it after regaining their composure. Dr. Corinne Stern was able to finish up her expert testimony without any further interruptions. On day 7, prosecutors played multiple jailhouse phone calls made by Juan, including several phone calls that the state says discredits any of Juan's claims of blackouts and memory loss at the time of his confession.
You see it over and over in the Bible, how he says, and even the Bible says, that he has power over all the nations. I mean, literally, he takes control over everything.
So we all have the hope, right?
We have what is it?
Hope.
Oh yeah, when I pray to God and I tell him, you are my hope, like we are our hope. You are our strength. You are our hope. Like that's all we have. And at the end of the day, this is how I feel, and this is what I tell God. Like our purpose in life, first and foremost, is to worship Him and to praise Him. Then the other stuff come into play. And my goal is at the very end, like the light at the end of my tunnel is when I am with Him for eternity. So, I mean, He literally controls the whole world.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
I don't see.
On the same page. I don't see the point of going through the whole process. So.
Well, they can the trial.
But if we're all on the same page, then okay. I'm very concerned over the statement that was made. I already asked the attorney if you could try to bend this a precedent. And I don't think you're ever going to try to. So.
As you can see, Juan very clearly referred to the statement made during the interrogation as the confession. Although some may argue that this is no indication that he was in fact lucid at the time that the statements were made, this phone call does demonstrate some level of understanding of how damning his words may have been during those moments. Another call was about 30 minutes of Juan speaking to his wife and children, enjoying some playful banter despite his grim circumstances.
What are you kids doing?
Mommy, I want to be when I grow up. I don't want to be a doctor, Daddy.
Why not? You promised me, baby.
I know, but I choose when I was what, remember?
So what do you want to be now?
I'm gonna be chef.
A chef?
Yes.
You promised that, you promised me.
Well, Daddy, I still don't know. I still have a long time until I'm dead.
I remember.
So I know why the prosecutor is using this. They're using it to show that he's not sad or remorseful, or he's really not afraid. To me, it doesn't really mean nothing to me. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, he might be a shitty human being and an evil person, and he committed murders, but that doesn't mean that, he's a evil father, right? Obviously he has a relationship with his daughter, and any parent who cares about their kids, they don't want their kids to worry. So I don't really necessarily with that. I don't really think that was something that they should have had used against him. But the one with his wife was very damaging because he showed that he was in the right state of mind. He realized that he was conscious enough to know that there was things that he said that could have been quite damaging, and that's what it showed in that conversation with his wife. So that phone call, yeah, definitely should have been used. This one, him just talking to his daughter and keeping up, keeping up the semantics that everything's okay, and so for her not to worry, because she seems like she's only like a 6 or 7 year old little girl. Why should she be worrying about her father going possibly losing his life, like why would you want to disrupt her like that? So I don't think that should have been used. But let's go on.
Fine. Before I was watching your paper, he told me, Rihanna. Okay.
Yeah, my precious.
I love you.
Although this interaction may be perceived as very wholesome, it's the reality of the situation that will always cast a dark shadow over top of these moments, transforming this call into something very tragic. Juan's defense team also went on to cross-examine Ranger Salinas, who helped obtain Ron's confession. It was noted that Juan told investigators multiple times that he did not want to make a statement, yet they continued to question him for over a 10-hour period, giving him nothing but water and chips until he confessed. If there was any progress made for Juan's defense, it was swiftly outgunned by the testimony of a firearms expert who also examined the evidence in this case.
After testing all 9 .40 Smith & Wesson caliber cartridge casings, you determined what exactly?
It's my opinion that the 9 submitted cartridge cases were fired by the H&K pistol.
Doing an analysis and evaluation on all 6 projectiles, which were what we learned to be fragments or bullet projectiles that came from the bodies of Melissa, Claudine, Janelle, and then projectiles that were found at the scene for Iselda. What was your conclusion after testing these specific items right here?
For those 6 projectiles, I determined, it was my opinion that they were fired by the H&K pistol.
The defense continued to suggest that much of the evidence presented was acquired unlawfully without a proper search warrant, and that it should not be considered by the jury for that reason. However, they were unable to make the same argument for the tire marks that were recovered near Claudia Luera's body. A forensic scientist believed that any of the 4 tires on Juan's truck could have left that impression on the ground.
What you're saying is they came from this kind of tire?
Yes, whatever the brand information was listed on the known tire impressions.
Okay. So you're not saying it's this tire or any tire that was on that Dodge truck?
Correct. As far as I know, these tires were on a suspect vehicle, so all 4 of the tires have the same tread design, and my conclusion is that the question impression could have come from any of those 4 tires or any other tire with similar characteristics.
On the 8th day and final day of the trial, the family members of the 4 victims gave their impact statements. Joey Cantu, Giselda Cantu's brother, gave a heart-wrenching statement forgiving Juan for what he had done to his sister.
I've now had to live a life in which I've endured and suffered the murder of my mother, the murder of my father, and now the murder of my sister. It would be so easy to hate you. Too easy, but I've always abhorred the path of least resistance, and I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all.
I agree, and if he didn't get caught, he definitely would have been committing more murders.
Not only to her, but to all of us. And here's the irony. Roughly 26 and a half years ago, I stood where you now stand, accused and convicted of murder, sentenced to 40 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I spent 22 years and 11 months of my life in prison from the age of 15 to the age of 38. When I was granted parole, the sister of my victim wrote me and told me that she forgave me for what I had done and that I should forgive myself as well. And now I find myself here in front of the person who killed my little sister. And I want you to know that I forgive you and I hold no ill will towards you, man. I pray that one day you find the peace that you have ripped away from all of us. You spoke of God's ability for miracles. Well, your miracle is that you get to continue living, to continue to see and hear from your loved ones while we no longer can. When in any other circumstance you would be facing a death sentence. I know that it was me, the brother of Giselda, who asked the DA to consider going without the death penalty.
As Joey finishes up his impact statement, the sisters of Claudine Luera and Janelle Ortiz followed with the same message for Juan, that he was forgiven and that his family would be kept in their prayers. The sister-in-law of Melissa Ramirez, however, was not so forgiving. She cursed Juan, called him a monster, and wished for his death.
Do you know how much pain you have caused to this family? Do you know how many times I wish for Melissa to show up to my home and see her and hug her and hear her voice again? I hate you for what you did, and I can never forgive you, nor do I think God will. You deserve to suffer in prison and go to hell. I still mourn for my sister-in-law. Even though it's been 4 years, I feel as if it happened yesterday. My heart is torn apart knowing that I won't be able to see her, but to visit her in the cemetery.
Is it still
Monsters
out now,
like you don't even deserve to breathe, nor wake up to every morning. You are a turd, so take back those words you've said to these beautiful women. You deserve to die and suffer for what you did, and when that day happens, I will finally be in peace.
And after these victim impact statements, the trial came to an end. It was rather clear by this point that the prosecution had a quite dominating performance throughout the trial. And as they claimed in their opening statement, the evidence really did seem to speak for itself. However, closing arguments can sometimes throw a curveball into the jury, as all it takes is one clever statement to cast doubt upon one jury member to alter the entire outcome.
We have brought you all the evidence, and you are ready to render a verdict. You are ready to bring justice to the victims and to their families. So where does this roadmap lead you? It's going to lead you first to definitions.
Thank you, Ms. Jalen, for dropping
I put up
down,
the entire definition, but I want you to focus on
channel.
one word.
Everybody,
aware.
go ahead and sign up
he
to
is
my bro
aware
Freezy
that
channel.
his
He has
conduct is
good
reasonably
topics.
certain to cause the result. Intentionally. Focus on the desire. The desire to engage in the conduct or cause the result. And how do we know what desire is? Desire can be seen the moment somebody picks up a gun, wraps their finger around the trigger, and pulls, pulls, pulls. We've seen that. We've seen that in each of these scenes. 3 times that desire at Melissa's. 2 times that desire at Claudine's. 3 times that desire at Grisela's. And 1 final time that desire with Janelle. And now, defense is going to come up here, whether it's Mr. Perez or Mr. Fuchs. And they're going to come up here, and I suspect that they're going to tell you the same thing. That the statement was coerced, that the search was illegal, that there's just not enough evidence. But I want you, as you listen to them, to stay focused. Use your common sense and rely on your life experiences. And if you remember nothing else from what I told you, I want you to remember this. When they come up here,
well, thank you very much.
It's not about what they tell you.
Thank you.
It's about what we showed you
me
from that witness stand.
The prosecutor just told you that she knew we were going to come up here
and thank you, Ms.
and
Jalen, for
argue
dropping down
that
Flora's
the search was illegal and
channel.
the evidence
Guys,
shouldn't be
if you are
admitted.
interested in body
Well, she's
cams,
quite right, because
Flora
she
does
is
body
right.
cam
The search
footage.
is
She's
illegal,
a
was
she has a
illegal,
criminal
and
justice
that evidence
degree,
should
and she
not
does great
have been
content.
admitted
Check her
for
out.
your consideration.
The state has to prove to you that he had the state of mind in the situation that he has that was not disputed, that he's taking, from February of 2018, this young man had an impeccable record, had served
thank you,
our country
Mr.
in
Ray J. I
Iraq,
appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment.
had seen horrible things in Iraq. They called him Doc. He saved lives over there. He came over here. He became a Border Patrol agent, was impeccable record, immediately raised and rose up to the intelligence unit. Come February of 21, migraines, nightmares, post-traumatic, insomnia. And then all hell breaks loose from February.
So it just makes perfect sense for the defense attorney to move in closing statements like this. The first thing they're going to lead up is to his history. He's a veteran, he served, he joined the law enforcement, he was top in his class, he was a family man, and then they're going to lead up to the point where he started to have mental health issues. And they're going to in saying that the mental health issues is the reason why he acted in this way. That's the only route that they can possibly take. There's too much damaging evidence that the prosecutors have. They have his tire tracks, that the weapon came back to his service pistol came back to say that it was shot from his gun. And also the only witness that was alive, confirmed that she was in a relationship with him for 5 months. So this is the only way that they can go, the only route.
February of 2018 to September of 2018. I think you have the right to say, hey man, was this guy really had the ability? Was it really that he wanted? Regardless of what he stated, was it really a common scheme and plan? Did he have the capacity to do that? You have to decide. That guy, and then all these pills, and everything that happened at the VA, Detroit? All because he couldn't find a primary doctor in Laredo because he had the primary in San Antonio. You really have to ask yourself,
a FOIA request.
Really
I'm a privacy monitor for the DOD as well, so it's not that hard.
Or did these things mess him up so much that no, he didn't have that capacity.
Fortunately, in this case, the defense seemed to strike out as their closing argument fell flat. And on December 7th, 2022, Juan David Ortiz received his verdict.
Verdict form. We, the jury, find the defendant, Juan David Ortiz, guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment and as instructed in this charge. Signed by the presiding juror. This is your verdict, correct? Thank you. Mr. Ortiz, you heard the jury's verdict. You have the right to allocution, which means you have the right to make a statement if you wish.
We have the jury polled.
Okay, so they're asking for the jury to be polled, so give me the juror list. Well, I'm just going to call you by number from the back. Juror number 1, can you please stand and tell me, was this your verdict? In the front.
Guilty.
Juror number 2.
Guilty.
Juror number 3.
Guilty.
Juror number 4.
Guilty.
Juror number 5.
Guilty.
Juror number 6.
Guilty.
Juror number 7.
Guilty.
Juror number 8.
Guilty.
Juror number 9. Juror number 10.
Guilty.
Juror number 11.
Guilty.
And juror number 12.
Guilty.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Ortiz, as I was saying, you have the right to make a statement if you wish. Would you like to make a statement at this time? No. Anything else?
Nothing for the defense.
Juan David Ortiz was found guilty of 4 counts of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That was really sad. I knew that it was going to lead with the PTSD and it was going to lead to the medications and that he was not in his right state of mind. And that's the reason why he committed those acts. But the prosecutor laid it thin, very clear. Like, he thought that these women were beneath him. He thought that these women were not loved. He thought that these women didn't have no family and he could do whatever he wanted to. And being put in that position where he's looked at as, being an outstanding, upright person, it made him very easy to do that. He's lucky that he didn't get the death penalty. Life in prison, that makes perfect sense. I just wish that he would have thought about his daughter and the way how he had that relationship with his daughter. He should have thought about that more and his relationship with his wife, that he wouldn't have done things like this. But prayers to the women who lost their life. That's horrible. And he destroyed his life for no apparent reason. To me personally, he destroyed his life for no apparent reason. All right, so the next one that I have is a interrogation. So apparently this man, his wife ends up missing, and this is his estranged wife, and he's brung in for questioning, and he turns out to be a liar. So we're going to look at how he's been lying. And shout out to everyone who's in here now. Just please make sure, if you're stopping by just to say hi, please hit the thumbs up. I definitely appreciate it. It helps the channel, and it helps me to have, to continue bringing these type of cases out for you guys. So let's go ahead. Let's see. Okay, and here we go.
How you doing, man? Good. Sorry to keep you waiting. Oh, you're fine. Officer Turner. Okay. What's your name? Alec. Alec? Yeah. This is Deputy Needy. So, here, I brought this for you. Thank you.
This is 21-year-old Alec Blair. He's been brought in for questioning regarding the disappearance of his estranged wife, 22-year-old Gabe Clevenger. She failed to show up for her shift at work earlier that day, raising concerns about her whereabouts. Alec was reportedly the last person seen with Gabe, making him the primary focus of the investigation. At this stage, the police are uncertain about the nature of the situation and are eager to uncover the truth and hopefully find Gabe unharmed.
So, we want to find her. Okay? So, I need your help, and I need to know what you know, okay? So just kind of give me start from the beginning, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then your relationship with your wife.
Well, I'm more of I don't know, describe what I do or anything?
Yeah, tell me what you do, tell me where you're from.
But I understand the very main situation.
Usually,
I get
I'm
it.
always at work. Basically 24/7.
Okay.
Weekends, usually I'm out. If I do anything, it'll be with my friends. Or I'll go out with my mom or dad or something. I'll drink, usually. From right here in Mansfield, where I've basically been most of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, and what else? I mean, I love sports.
Well, where'd you go to high school?
At Crestview.
Okay. And what year did you graduate there?
2017.
Okay, all right. So, how did you meet your wife?
I started working at Walmart.
Okay.
In 2016.
Okay.
When I met her.
Okay, gotcha. And then when did you guys get married?
We got married in August of last year.
Okay, all right. No kids, anything like that?
No, we tried.
Right, it's very concerning because your wife is missing, and you don't see that
goal here is
concern, right?
She's missing. You don't know where she is. Yeah. So you understand you're here voluntarily, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I am going to read you your Miranda warning. It's just something that we have to do. Okay. And I'm going to this will be what I'm reading you here at the top. Okay. And I'm sure you've seen it on TV.
Right.
It just says that I understand that the right to remain silent. Mm-hmm. Anything that I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. You understand that the right to be the presence of an attorney when being questioned. And you understand if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you by a court. You understand that anytime during questioning, you can stop and remain silent and ask for an attorney to represent you before any further statements. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now that you understand that, do you wish to talk to us in general?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So tell me where you guys were.
Hi, Elmer. How you doing?
We were living in trailer
going
park.
over interrogation of a husband.
It's a Greenwich address,
missing, and
but it's
they're
not
trying
really
to eliminate
Greenwich. It's
him as a suspect.
5 minutes from the Crestview schools.
Clayburg Road trailer park?
Yeah, Clayburg Road,
Okay.
Yeah, we were living there we started in one trailer and then moved into another trailer that was bigger for us.
Okay. And then how long did you stay there?
I was there at the newer trailer we got till about beginning of January.
Okay.
Because she was telling me that, she wasn't happy.
There's an actual video.
A lot of stuff had to do with me. Because I would have anger issues.
Okay.
From childhood and parents divorced and stressed. I would if my anger, I would punch the wall or maybe throw something.
Okay.
That would be my type, getting out my anger.
Right.
But beginning of January, I moved out with my mom.
Okay.
Over on Taylortown Road.
Okay.
And I've been living there ever since.
Okay. And then where was she living? You said you moved out, so did she stay in the trailer?
She was staying in the trailer for a while there that I know of, and then she was trying to get a place out here in Shelby, apartment. And I know she was staying with somebody else. It was a friend at first that turned into, something else.
Okay. Now, whose friend? Your friend or her friend?
It was her friend, yeah.
Okay. And then how'd you hear about that?
Remember how I tell you guys, pay attention to the body language. He has his hands kind of crossed. Now it seems like he's being very open about his history and the past history with his wife, but he's still showing signs of being standoffish or having a wall with his arms crossed because they haven't even gotten to the point of asking him any hard questions yet, right? They're leading up to the buddy, just tell me about yourself, how you got in a relationship with her, what are your likes, what is your dreams, where you stay at, very, very small talk. And then when the questions start coming, he's already setting himself up that he has a wall to not to give too much information. So just pay attention to that, guys.
How'd you learn about that?
She was the one that told me, actually.
Yep, that is correct.
About that.
Okay. I don't know what she said. She was just talking to a guy, or?
Well, at first she kind of didn't want to say anything, but I was just kind of talking to her and wanting her to tell me, the truth, just tell me. And she said she was talking at first that I know of, and then basically that's all I really know. They were talking. They met, it was sometime last year, because her boss, that's her boss's brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever talked to him or met him, or?
I've never met him or talked to him or anything.
You never talked to him on the phone or text him? Okay.
That is true.
Alec's description of his relationship with Gabe barely scratches the surface of a much darker reality. What he casually refers to as aggression on his part was in fact a horrifying pattern of abuse. Alec's rage manifested in punching walls, destroying her possessions, and even the degrading act of urinating on her belongings. He'd trap her, locking her in rooms, stripping away her freedom piece by piece. This escalating torment eventually forced Gabe to flee, seeking safety away from Alec. While estranged from her husband, Gabe eventually found love somewhere else.
What in the world? Why are you? I don't understand this, man. I really don't understand this. You are urinating on her stuff? You locking her in doors and punching holes, and why are you doing this, sir? Ouch. And it's funny because he played it off to the detectives as, I have an estranged wife because, we had regular arguments and I just only took out my frustration out on the walls. No, you was clearly taking out your frustrations out on this woman. One of the reasons why she tried to hurry up and get away as quickly as possible. Wow, the peeing on her clothes thing just threw me for a loop right there. Wow.
Alec tells investigators he knows little about this new person in Gabe's life, but the reality is something totally different. Alec obsessively stalked Gabe's new partner online, bombarding him with threatening messages and even going as far as to send the man nude pictures of Gabe.
So if he walked in the police department right now, you wouldn't know who he was?
I could probably tell who he was because, like, I've seen, like, his Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you looked him up on Facebook. You have a general idea of what he
Right,
looked like.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So when you found out that she was, like, talking to him, like, what was the status of your relationship at the time?
I was single, I guess, even though I was still, legally married.
Okay. But, I mean, did you guys have, like, an understanding, like, we're going to see other people, or we're separated?
It was hard for me at first.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got really depressed with everything just because I wasn't ready, and she was basically the first person I fell in love with.
Sure.
So it was just kind of hard for me.
Okay, so I have gotten a request to replay. We're going to replay it a little bit. Pretty much he's just stating that even when she got away and he realized that she was dating someone else, he went to stalk her and stalked the guy. And he, and I guess went on to threaten the guy too, or, tried to say that that's my wife and your dick ain't bigger than mine. He was just trying to have a whose dick is bigger type of competition with this guy and make it very uncomfortable. So I just pulled it back a little bit. Let's go.
I was single, I guess, even though I was still, legally married.
Okay. But, I mean, did you guys have, like, an understanding, like, we're going to see other people, or we're separated?
It was hard for me at first.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got really depressed with everything just because I wasn't ready, and she was basically the first person I fell in love with.
Sure.
So it was just kind of hard for me to get used to it, but as of right now, I know my dad was trying to hook me up with some girl.
Okay.
Yeah, so
this was last month that all this happened?
Last month coming into beginning of this month.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so give me an approximate date.
I'm sorry to keep on stopping, guys, but I want y'all to pay attention to his body language. So before, when he had his arms crossed, they were leaning more towards his hip, right? Because they weren't asking him very detailed questions in reference to his wife, right? Now, when they're starting to ask about their relationship, their separation, her moving on, and when the last time you seen her, or when did this happen? Now look at the positioning of his arms. Now his crossing is across his chest now. You see the difference? Is across his chest now. Now he's getting even more in defense mode. He's trying to pull back and withhold more now.
When you think she moved over here?
I want to say around the end of January.
Okay, all right.
I can think of it. Yeah, because what happened was she was staying there, but she wasn't there the one night, and someone broke into the trailer.
The trailer where? Your original trailer that you guys were living at?
Second trailer we got.
Okay.
Someone, I guess, ended up breaking in and didn't take anything, but they did break a lot of stuff.
Huh.
And I knew they decided they wanted to take a pee on the floors, I guess, from what I was told. And she had the Richland cops come there, tell her that she probably shouldn't be staying there. Probably stay with a friend or her sister or something.
So I'm wondering, how does he know that someone robbed her or came into her house and she shouldn't be staying at the trailer anymore, and they peed on he knows specific things, that they peed on the floor, they started messing up stuff in her house, and what cops came to her house. How did he know all that if That is your estranged wife, and she ran away from you. Like, I'm wondering, I know she didn't call you and tell you that happened. You're the last person that she would speak, she would speak to about that, right? So how do you know that? I wonder if they're gonna ask him who told him that story that happened to her. Let's go on.
So she told you, like, she called you and tell you that, hey, the trailer was broken into, or?
I found out about it because our landlord called me and said the door was open. And so he was wondering how to get a hold of her. I just told him to call her work boss. And I messaged her and asked her what was going on, and told me all that.
Okay, all right. So from that incident, the burglary, whatever that was, up until now, have you guys been amicable? Did you get along? I mean, what's going on between you and her?
We were kind of civil, but then we kind of would go back into a path of just, we were messaging each other, and, it would just be like really not, great things we would tell each other. We really didn't have a great relationship, but, I tried to be civil again just because I wanted to calm everything down. Sure. She wanted the divorce and I wasn't prepared.
Okay.
So I kind of just finally was getting into that feeling to do that.
All right. So she had told you she wanted a divorce.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that what started kind of the waxing and waning of the arguments, or?
Yeah.
That's what started it. Okay. And now, are you talking to her on the phone about all this stuff? Do you guys text or Facebook message, or how do you guys talk?
It would usually just be Facebook message.
Okay.
But most of the time she had me blocked on Facebook, so I'd have to talk to her sister to tell her, whatever.
Okay, all right. So when's the last time you saw her?
This morning, actually.
Okay, tell me about that. How did you see her this morning? Why did you see her this morning?
Well, because I was messaging her on Facebook.
Is that better? Let me know.
Because I wanted to go to the courthouse so we can figure out anything with a divorce, how much it's going to cost, all that stuff. Well, she didn't really want to at first, but I was trying to talk her into it, just so we can
I don't know trouble.
get it all done and over
like
with.
to tell on themselves.
And then when I did get her, we went to the car. I started going for a little bit, but she just wanted to try to start arguing. I really wasn't in the mood to argue just because I was tired. And, I told her, I was like, I'm not really in the mood to argue right now. I just want to go get this done and go to work. Well, she didn't want, she wanted to continue arguing, and then she told me she wanted to get out of the car, so I just was like, okay. So she got out of the car. It wasn't too far from her house, her boyfriend's house or whatever. And, I decided to go home.
Okay. So then you went back to take her down.
Yeah, I went home and got ready for work, went to work.
So where, you were going to Mansfield on 39? Or how were you planning to go to the courthouse?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think it was 39, yeah.
Is it the main highway, or are you going back roads?
It was the main highway, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Okay, so about how far away did you get before, she said she wanted to get out?
It was like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Before
anything. Do you know the area well? Where exactly this happened? Where she got out?
From that area, I really don't know too well. Because I'm not really from Shelby, so I don't know too much.
Okay. You know where, so if you're going in 39 to Mansfield, right?
Yeah.
And then you make a right, and you go to Lexington Spring Mill to go towards Meyer and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it before that?
It was, way before that.
Way before that. Okay.
Yeah.
So was it past Mill Irons?
We weren't past there. It was, I just picked her up from her house where she was at, and we started going. It wasn't
Is that where you
really
from, Cameron?
that long
Mansfield,
before
Texas?
she told me that.
Okay, and where'd you pick her up at?
Over on 2nd Street.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that's where she's like been staying. Who lives there?
I know that I don't really know. I think it might be CJ's mom and stepdad.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
And I think it might be CJ, but I know he wasn't in Ohio. He's not in Ohio right now. I think that's who's living there.
But I mean, how'd you find out where they lived?
I made the stupid post on Facebook about her. It was just really just me just downplaying her. I was just being dumb in my anger. And someone messaged me and told me the address of his name. I didn't know who it was that told me.
Wow. So you were just asking like for information.
Oh my God. Go get a lawyer and shut up, please. Like, dude, you're telling on yourself to the detective and you think that you're being smart in this situation. You literally just told the detective that you not only did you abuse your wife and then she had to hurry up and run from you. You showed them that how controlling you are, that when she was moving on into a new relationship, you stalked her Facebook, found out who she was messing with, and started to stalk and proceed to stalk him. And then on top of that, you told them that you were, I don't know, slander. You was committing slander and defamation of character on social media to her, and that supposedly somebody gave you the address. And you think this gonna work out for you, right?
From her, like, or him, or both?
Post was really just about her.
Like, what you said? Just like trash?
Pretty much, yeah. I was just being stupid. It went in my head. I get angry.
Okay.
And if I want to say something, it gets in my head and I'll just come out with it.
Okay. And when was that post today, or?
That was posted a week or two ago.
Okay. So you knew, last week or whatever that he lived over here, she was staying with him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you find that out, then what do?
I didn't do anything after that. After I found out, I just kind of just blew on by it to try not to worry about it. I think I had to go to work then, right after, so.
Okay. All right. So when you picked her up today, right, well, about what time was that?
I'm going to say like 10:30, maybe 11.
Okay. And why didn't she just go to the courthouse by herself? Why didn't she just go by herself? Why did you guys have to go together?
She doesn't have a car. I'm the only one with the car. When we were together, we had just the one car.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up actually getting into an accident over here by Taco Bell and everything.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I rear-ended somebody and just got a rental car.
Oh, wow. Okay. When did that happen?
I think it was a week ago.
Oh, okay. What were you doing over here?
I went to go get gas. And came out there and hit the back of somebody.
Okay. So when you were talking to her, when did the conversation start? Was it this morning about like this whole courthouse thing, or when did you guys
it was this morning.
Like about what time?
I woke up about 10 o'clock. Started Messenger a little bit after.
Okay, so you started Messenger this morning about 10.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Just tell me how the conversation went.
I was just telling her, just asking her if
He doesn't know how criminating this is making himself, right? The simple fact that this is your estranged wife and you have to literally talk to her on Facebook Messenger. You can't contact her any other way. You can't even contact her by her phone, but you want the detectives to believe that she was comfortable enough to go with you down to the courthouse willingly. Let's see. John E. B. Hello, sir. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. He said, who is this dude? This is a man whose wife is missing, and he's letting the detectives know how controlling and abusive he was to his wife, that she had to flee, and also that he's been stalking her and her new love interest. And now, a week after doing all that, his wife has somehow disappeared. So we're looking at his interrogation of him telling on himself.
She wanted to go to the courthouse, and she told me something about an annulment she was getting. I do know that, and then I was just looking up, I was looking up on LegalZoom, like, what kind of divorce stuff we could do, and I was trying to tell her about part of the divorce where we wouldn't have to pay court fees, because neither of us could really afford all this stuff. And I was trying to tell her about that, and I didn't know if an annulment really applied to us.
Right.
I wanted to go to the courthouse because I wanted to see like what we could do, if anything could do, or how much everything will cost.
Right.
All that. And she was just trying to tell me she didn't want to do it right now, but I wanted to do it just because it'll help me clear my mind a little bit better.
Right.
Just so I'm not, dealing with anything with her and just trying to move on.
So you kind of changed your mindset, like now she.
Yeah, that's just why they're catching him in his lie now, right? Even more. They caught him in his lie before, but they're gonna let him talk himself into, jail, right? You said that you were the one that did not want a divorce. Your wife was the one who brought up the divorce situation after she fled your abuse. And you said that you wasn't ready for a divorce. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying that you are the one who wanted the divorce and she didn't want to do it right now after you was explaining to her the costs of what happened if y'all go through a divorce and y'all can't get an annulment due to how long y'all actually been married. They're not buying it, as well as I'm not buying it either. It's just, whew.
She's kind of dragging her feet, and you want to get it done. Yeah. When before, she wanted to get it done right away, and you did.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Now, when did that change your heart happen?
I kind of was thinking about it all weekend long. Just trying to get thinking of it.
Not
I was
recent,
like, well,
Nancy.
I might as well do it.
About maybe
I couldn't message her till Monday because, courthouse wasn't open.
Sure.
Till then, so I decided to message her as soon as I got up.
Okay, so you picked her up. What time did you say? I'm sorry. What time did you say this
It was
morning?
like in the 10:30 to 11 area.
Okay. From her house on 2nd Street.
Yeah.
Was he there? This CJ guy, was he there?
No, because I know he's not in Ohio right now. Yeah.
Does he work somewhere else, or?
I guess his work made him travel. Last I know, he was in Virginia.
Okay.
She told me that for some reason. I don't really know why she told me that.
So who else was there when you picked her up?
I guess there was someone named Lisa there.
He doesn't know this is making him look really bad. You know too much information about the potential lover that your ex-wife had. You know that he's not in Ohio anymore. You know he has a certain job. Like, you just know too much stuff. You know where his whereabout is, and he thinks that the detectives that's not raising a red flag to the detectives. Like, how do you know this amount of information about him? And then you want them to believe that your estranged wife that is dating this man is telling you all this information when she escaped you for being controlling, and you initially didn't even want a divorce. You wanted her to come back to the house where you can pee on her clothes some more. Interesting. Let's go on.
I don't know who that is or anything.
At this point in the interrogation, Alec introduces a new character, Lisa. He claims that Lisa was at the house when he picked up Gabe, but he also admits that he doesn't know who Lisa is. Lisa is the mother of the man Gabe had been seeing, and she was the one who initiated the missing persons report on Gabe. Gabe had moved in with Lisa just a few weeks earlier after receiving numerous threats from Alec. In fact, just a few weeks before moving in with Lisa, there had been a break-in at Gabe's home, where someone had smashed up her belongings and even urinated on the floor. Although Gabe suspected...
Yeah, he's completely done. He's toast. So you telling me the mother of the boyfriend was the one who put the missing person out on your wife? Not even you? Not even her own family members, because they didn't know that she was missing? But they knew what happened to her when someone broke into her trailer and destroyed her house and peed on the floor. And then now, weeks later, she's missing. And she's the one who put out the missing person report? You're through, sir. You're completely through.
Suspected Alec was behind the break-in, there was no concrete proof, and police indicated that there was nothing they could do, as Alec's name was still on the lease, and he had the right to be there. It's also interesting to note that Gabe was actually home alone when Alec picked her up earlier. The fact that Alec is surprised at Lisa claiming to be there suggests he likely knew Gabe was by herself, adding to the suspicion surrounding his actions and motives. To shed more light on the situation, let's listen to the 911 call Lisa made when she realized that Gabe may be missing.
Shelby Police Department. Hi, this is Lisa. I'm calling. I live at 122nd Street, and I would like to make a police report.
Okay, what's going on?
I have a young lady who's living here with me. She's been here for about, I'm going to say about a month and a half. Her husband got very violent with her, and she has a bunch of police reports there in Mansfield that she's filed. She also filed for an annulment. She's waiting for paperwork to come here to this address. Anyway, Alex ended up, her soon-to-be ex-husband ended up finding out where we lived at, and he come over all psycho and banged on the door. She ended up leaving with him, and she texted my son, who is out of state, and said, hey, I'm with Alex. He came psycho, and she was like, why didn't you call the police? But anyway, nobody can find her. She didn't show up for work. She didn't call off. That's so out of her character. So I'm hoping I can file a report.
Did you see Lisa?
No, I don't know how she got my number, but she was texting me, asking me what was going on. Honestly, I have no idea how she got my number. I don't know.
I don't know what she said. She's just like, how did the conversation start?
I think she said, it's Lisa, and then asked me, asked me, trying to remember how it actually went. He said, it's Lisa. Have you heard anything from Gabe? Because I'm worried about her. And I was like, I haven't heard anything. I was trying to get in contact with her too. And then I was asking who Lisa was, because I didn't know who that was. And she said, because Gabe never actually said anything about Elisa, so I had zero idea who this person is and how they got my number or anything. Yeah, and then she was just trying to ask me what was going on. I was telling her, what had happened, and how I was having major panic attacks at work.
Yeah.
My boss could tell I was doing it because I was freaking out on what was going on with her.
Okay.
With Gabe.
So about what time did you get this text from Lisa?
It was probably about 2:20.
Okay.
2:10, 2:20, yeah.
All right. And Lisa just said, hey, basically, where's Gabe? Or
just asked me, like,
have
you heard anything from Gabe? Because I haven't heard anything or seen her. Or, yeah.
And what did you tell her?
Right.
I just told her, I told her straight up, like, what happened today, and that I was worried too, because her coworkers, Gabe's coworkers, were telling me that Gabe didn't show up to work today and she's not answering her phone.
Wow. Okay. Now, is that unusual for her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's at work all the time, never late or anything.
So when did you become, concerned? You say you started having panic attacks. What?
I got a message from one of her coworkers named Ruthie.
Okay.
She was telling me, asking me, where Gabe was.
So, you know what's the craziest thing about it, right? Is that he said that he picked her up around 10 in the morning. So they were supposed to supposedly go to the courts before she heads into work. Now he's talking about it's 2 p.m. and everybody's calling him, apparently, all her co-workers, because he's still the next of kin, right? Because they're still legally married. They're calling him saying, hey, Gabe haven't showed up to work. Have you seen her? And you're telling him, no, you haven't seen her. But we haven't even heard that he dropped her off at work. Did we hear that? Because in the beginning, he said that she got in the car with him because she didn't have a car. So they was going to the courts together. He was driving. So I have not heard him tell the police that he dropped her off at work. So where did she go from 10 in the morning to 2 p.m.?
And I was like, and it was like, what are you talking about? I just saw her, I told her what I just told you, what happened this morning. That's when, then I got another message from somebody else she works with, asking me the same thing. So I told, her the same thing. And that started building up my anxiety and panic attacks and everything.
Thank you so much, RJ, for becoming
what's going on
a member.
right now?
I
just saw her.
Thank you so much, sir.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And everyone, can
So,
you please
tell
hit
me
the
what you
like
said
sub
to
for
them.
me, at
Like,
least
I know you said
100? I would
it
truly
was the same
appreciate
thing,
it.
but exactly
It
what
helps
you said to
the
them.
channel. Thank you so much.
It's like I haven't heard from her, and I saw her this morning, and that I wanted to go to the courthouse with her to do some divorce stuff, and she didn't want to at first, but I kind of was making her come along, and she wanted to get an argument with me, so she wanted out of the car, and I stopped the car. She went out. I drove off.
Okay, so you're driving towards Mansfield on 39.
Yeah.
Okay. And you come off of Taylortown and you turn left to go towards Mansfield.
I turned, the left turn down towards Taylortown, that whole road.
Okay. So you're on Taylortown, you're heading which direction?
Turn left.
Heading south.
Yeah,
Towards Mansfield.
south, yeah.
Okay.
Be south.
What is the argument about when you guys are here at this point?
Just that I'm messaging her too
Hey,
much.
good to see you.
She didn't want to. She doesn't want to do this right now. That I can
I
wait.
don't know what a
to
vibrator
do
is.
this
Sir.
until she wanted to do it Tuesday or Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to do it. And I wasn't listening. That's what she was telling me.
Okay, go on. What'd you say?
I was like, well, I just want to get this done and over with. I want to see what we can do here.
Okay. So what made her so mad that she jumped out of the car?
Just because she doesn't like to be around me much anymore.
Okay. And that's because just of the arguments you've had in the past? Or?
Yeah, because of arguments.
Welcome back. I appreciate you.
My anger towards
just
her.
a lying husband who's a suspect.
I would call her
his
stupid
missing
names
wife.
just because my anger would do that to me. And she just wasn't happy with what I was at the moment.
Okay, all right. So, you just, what do you call her?
I'm calling her just, stupid shit. I would call her whore or all that stupid stuff.
And you've called her that before?
Yeah, usually when we were together, I would call her that just out of fun. she would laugh when I would do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just, this was like me. I was angry.
Okay.
I was just putting it out.
All right.
Did
So
you just say he was
you're driving
calling
against
her whore
and you getting this kind of back and forth
shit
about
out of
some
fun?
name calling and you wanting to do it today. And then what happened from there?
What happened when after I was calling her names or today?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. She wanted to get out, so I stopped the car and let her out.
Okay. And did you pull to the side of the road or did she jump from a moving vehicle?
I stopped for her on the side of the road.
And she got out on the passenger side.
Yeah.
Okay. And then where'd you go from there?
I just went straight back home to my mom's.
Okay. And your parents live where?
Taylortown.
Okay, so did you turn around and come back down 39? Or how'd you get back to your house?
I went around towards where BP is.
I agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
In Shelby? Yeah, Shelby, yeah.
I agree.
Okay. And just continued forward there until I got up to where MTV is.
Okay.
And take a left right there on Taylortown Road.
Okay. So you go towards Mansfield, you guys get this back and forth, and she wants to get out of the car and you pull over. And then how do you get back into Shelby again? Tell me the route you took.
How do I get into Shelby?
Yeah, I mean, after she got out of the car, tell me how you got, you said back to the BP station or wherever.
Oh, yeah, just because I went through the BP station. We were in Shelby when I dropped her off.
Hold on one second. I'm going to interrupt you, man.
Yeah.
We just need some clarification if we can here. So you were on 39, correct? Coming back in is what you told this officer, right? Mansfield Avenue, the main highway, 4 lanes there.
I think we were going towards there.
Okay.
We were in Shelby. We were on 2nd Street there.
Okay.
When she wanted to get out.
And 2nd Street goes down to Main Street, where Rite Aid is, the corner of Main and Mansfield there.
Yeah. I think it goes around there.
So, did she get out on Main Street? Did she get out on Mansfield Street? Just where exactly did you pull over and she got out of the car?
I don't remember what road that is. I'm not too familiar around here.
Well, let's make it a little bit broader. So,
Yeah.
were you still in the city, or had you gotten out into the country?
We were still in Shelby, yeah.
You were still in Shelby when she
Yeah.
got out of the car?
Yeah.
Okay. So you hadn't made it, like, out past Kehoe Center and MDT and all that or anything?
We didn't make it out past there. I dropped her off right there.
Okay. So
we were still on 2nd Street,
He
I'm pretty
messed
sure.
up big time.
So you didn't even make it off 2nd Street before she got out of the car?
Yeah.
Okay. So did you guys stay parked in the driveway or the street and argue for a little while? I mean, you said 2 to 3 minutes, and 2nd Street's not
He's
exactly
been
a
waiting
long
to say
street.
something, Cameron,
So
because he's
it was
out of
a
his
while
lies.
that we were sitting there.
Okay.
So we started driving out a little bit. And then,
So, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. You tell me if this is correct or not. We're just trying to get a handle on this. So, you go to get her. You guys are kind of arguing in the car a little bit, sitting still.
right, yeah.
Take off on 2nd. She's getting more and more irritable with you. Doesn't want to be around you. So, you pulled over on 2nd Street and let her back out of the car.
Yeah.
So, didn't even make it a full street with,
Not really,
with
no.
her in the car.
No.
And out on, okay. All right. That, I guess that makes it a little clearer because I guess
my bad,
I was
yeah.
kind of under the impression that you guys had made it like closer to Mansfield when she got out of the car. That's why we're trying to just figure out.
Oh, really?
I mean, because we're dealing with obviously
Do
the
you know
last
what
place
happened?
anybody was known to have seen her.
tell me?
Right.
So that gives us an idea where to start looking at.
Right.
All right. So you're fairly sure you didn't even make it off 2nd Street before she got
I'm
out of
pretty
the car?
sure we didn't make it off 2nd Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And what did she say when she got out?
That she would just contact me when she feels like it to do this.
Okay. And I mean, did she say anything else? Flip you off or?
No.
Okay, she just, well, I mean, the last time you saw her, what was she doing?
Last I know, she just got out of the car and started walking, and I just kind of drove off.
Was she walking like back towards like, this place you picked her up at?
Yeah, she was walking back towards there.
Okay, so what was she wearing the last time you saw her?
Was a black jacket. I think she had a black shirt on, long sleeve shirt.
Okay.
Blue jeans. I can't remember what kind of shoes she was wearing.
Okay. All right.
Up until this
I'm
point,
guessing too.
the detectives have allowed Alec to speak freely, giving him the opportunity to provide his version of events without much pushback. However, the detectives are about to shift gears and turn up the pressure. The police have been quietly gathering evidence in the back.
So, like I said, this was all a tactic, right? Let him tell his story, let him get comfortable, let him put it all out there. The second officer was taking all the notes, right? And that's when he jumped in and said, wait a minute. You just said that she was on this street, and now you're saying that she was on that street, and you said that you was in this township, but then now you're not in this township. Then you said that you dropped off near the gas station, and that was the only way that you can do a U-turn and go back into this township. So they started to catch him on his lies. So now it's time to turn on the heat, right? And we're going to see that right now.
Background, and now they're ready to confront Alec with what they know.
I'm going to ask you about something else real quick, okay? I mean, you seem like a good guy. You're being cooperative with us here, so we want to shoot you straight to here and put all our cards on the table, because obviously we want to find her.
Right.
All right?
Oh my God. No.
I'm just going to break this down real short and simple, all right? One of our officers from the sheriff's office, and I wasn't there when this happened, I'm just going by the information that was given to me, okay? They apparently got a look inside your car at some point in time doing follow-up for this case for Shelby Police Department, okay? Yeah. And the officer that had a look inside your car saw what he believed was blood and what looked like blood had been cleaned up, okay? Yeah. Now, I'm also told that somebody said something to you about this, and you said a friend of yours had been in the car and had a bad bloody nose, and that's where it came from. Yeah. Is all that accurate? Yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. You need to be honest with us about this, all right? Yeah. Because we can DNA test that blood. Right. We can verify that it's hers and not this friend. Right. Which I don't know who this friend supposedly is. We'll get to that a little later. But we can check that. Very easily find out if it's hers or not. Right. Okay? We can also subpoena all your phone records and find out if you have been in contact with this CJ or her or whatever it is you've said to them. Okay? I get you guys are going through a bad divorce. Okay? Right. Yeah. People say things that aren't pretty. We've all done it. All right? It's no. We don't care about that. Right. All right? We've all been there, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. All right? The point I'm getting at here is all this stuff here. If you're lying about it, it's extremely easy for us to prove that you're lying about it, right? Because we can test DNA, because we can subpoena phone records and verify all this. All right. They also did a ping on her cell phone, and it pinged off a cell tower not too far from where you work at. Oh, really? So here's the deal.
Oh my gosh!
Just as the interrogation was heating up and Alec had been backed into a corner, a technical glitch occurred, causing the cameras to malfunction. At this critical juncture, Alec had broken down under the weight of the evidence and confessed to dumping Gabe's body. However, due to the camera issue, none of this crucial confession was recorded. In a moment, another officer will enter the room to inform the detectives of the challenging situation they now face. They need to get Alec to repeat his confession, this time with the cameras functioning properly. There's a risk that Alec might refuse to recount the events again, so the detectives must proceed carefully. This is where Officer Turner's skill as an interrogator comes into play. As he re-enters the room, keep an eye on his body language. You'll notice a much more relaxed approach, with his hands behind his head, a posture designed to put Alec at ease and encourage him to open up once more.
So, you drain her off in the field, you get back in your car, and you sit and you're thinking about it.
So they don't have that part of the confession, the initial confession, but pretty much he told the truth, right? And I guess what literally startled him, where he had to start telling the truth, is when they said that they pinged her phone, and her phone was right near where he worked at. So wherever her body is somewhere where he works at. This guy, man, this guy sitting up there lying and fabricating a whole entire story and didn't even know that they already had some information that is the reason why they're interrogating you this long, and you sitting up here lying, talk about you dropped her off and she walked in the middle of the street somewhere on Mansfield. Boy, bye.
Then what do you do?
Officer Turner, could I talk to you for 1 second? Thank you.
So I want to back up because I'm still confused about what happened. So you go to her house this morning and you pick her up.
Right.
For the purpose of?
Courthouse.
Okay. So you pick her up from 2nd Street. You go down 2nd Street. What direction do you turn?
Take that. I'm going down 2nd Street, take that left.
Okay.
Go down towards a stop sign.
Okay.
Take another left. And then it's basically we're just going straight towards where the main road and everything is. Like Taco Bell, Wendy's.
Okay.
Going down there. Going the turn lane right there towards where Taylortown is. Turn down Taylortown.
All right.
We got to the point, where I did hit her.
Okay.
And then I did turn down where the golf course and everything, and towards that dead end. And that's where I left her.
Okay. So after you hit her, she's bleeding everywhere. Is she immediately unconscious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then tell me again what you did. I'm just trying to understand the sequence of events here.
Like where I hit her?
Yeah.
Went like that.
Okay.
Here.
All right. She starts bleeding real bad. And that's the blood that's in your car right now.
Right.
It's not this other made-up friend that you said had it. Okay, it's her blood. We got that. All right. So she's unconscious. What do? You go around the other side of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then what happens?
That's when I take her out to the cornfield.
Okay. And then, so she's out in the cornfield. Is she on her stomach? Is she on her back?
On her back, like Cindy.
Okay, all right. And what do you do, to check for signs of life?
Her pulse, and then try to check her breathing.
Okay. But she wasn't breathing?
It was kind of hard.
Okay.
Like, it was coming out, but it was...
Okay, is it like gurgling? Like blood coming out of her mouth? Gurgling sound?
Honestly, don't think there was any gurgling sound now.
Okay. And you checked for her pulse where?
Right here on her arm.
Okay, all right. Okay, so then you kind of go back and you sit in your car.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? What happens from there?
I'm freaking out to myself. I don't know what, I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So
RJ says, here's a problem here. He's leading him and he needs to let him tell it. Yeah, he does, right? I do think that that's a big problem. And my whole thing is about it is, if you got in an altercation with her, we all know that you hit her before. You told the police that you have had altercations with your wife. Why when you hit her, why you didn't take her to the hospital? Why would you take her to the cornfield? Why not take her to the hospital? And if whatever happens, we got into an altercation, it was a domestic violence situation, you get arrested, whatever, right? But why would you take her to the cornfield? And you want people to believe that you took her to the cornfield, you sat in your car, and you was like, oh my God, what have I done? And you just left her body there. You didn't know, you knew that she was breathing, but she was unconscious. You really want us to believe that. And this is your wife. You took her to the cornfield for a reason, dude. And the reason why you took her there is because you had every intent of her not coming out of that cornfield. That's the reason why. It's just terrible. This is horrible. And the fact that even while he's confessing, he still have this smirk on his face. It's so annoying that he's still smiling and smirking through this whole interrogation. It's really ridiculous at this point.
You leave.
Yeah.
And you leave her there.
Yeah.
And you go where?
I went back to my house and grabbed my stuff for work.
Hey, Dr. Pringle, thank you for coming.
All right. So then so tell me what you did at that point. You started cleaning up.
Yeah, and then trying to clean up.
It's dangerous people in general, Paul. Men or women can be dangerous.
So the stuff you cleaned up with, you said was water?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the Lysol there for?
I was just trying to, that blood smell from her nose. I was just trying to get it out.
So the stuff you cleaned up the blood with, where's that?
Last I threw it away.
Okay, at your house?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Alec, we come back here to the main point. I really don't want to, we need to help this girl. And you need to help us. Where did you leave her? I need to know the road and the street because I know you don't. This whole, I'm dumb, I don't know the streets. That's bull. You tell me what road you were on because we need to go find her right now.
Right. It was that, what's that road called with the golf course?
Laser,
yeah. Laser goes up to that dead end.
Where it curves.
Yeah,
right,
it curves to that dead end.
Driving north.
Yeah. And that's where, that cornfield.
Off on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we past 96 at this point?
Yes, that's between 96 and Bowman.
Okay.
Truly a sicko, Jen.
The golf course in 96. Or are you on the other side of 96?
We're on the other side.
Okay.
It's a short stretch of laser that runs in.
Okay, and it's a dead end down there.
Correct. If you're on Bowman here, laser just kind of takes a curve. Laser goes up from 96 here, takes a curve to the right, and stops on Bowman right here. And there's a field.
I'm telling you,
right there.
men and women can be foul and cruel. You got to look at my other episode. I talked about the evil women too.
So, who brought that back in? Just kind of draw me a general map of where this is.
Come down Taylortown here.
Mm-hmm.
Come down Taylortown. That golf course.
Hey, Liam. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're to my left.
And thanks for everyone who stopped by. Angela, Elle, everyone, Suzanne. I appreciate you chatting in the chat. I really do.
I didn't say spot.
That's fine.
And then that little curve. Can't remember which side that was on.
Okay.
Out there.
Where were you at when you hit her and she went unconscious?
We were about right here on Taylortown.
So you're on Taylortown close to Laser.
Yeah, getting close to
it.
it.
All right. So is this after the 96 runs like this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's 96 right there. So you come in. You leave your house.
Vigilante,
you come down. This is before this all happened. You leave your house and you come in to Shelby on 39.
Yeah.
All right. You pick her up. 2nd Street's over here.
Yeah.
You pick her up. You're driving down 39. Why'd you turn down Taylortown?
Hey, William. Thank you for
Because I was
stopping by. I
going to
appreciate
go down and get my stuff for work just in case. We were going to be late when we were going to the courthouse.
Okay. All right, so you're going to stop back at your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you stop back at your house?
After the fact that I dropped her off.
Oh, but not before.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't make it all the way down there.
All right, so that's about where you hit her. So then you're driving down the street, you turn left on Laser. Is she unconscious at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you're going down Laser and you cross 96, and now you're at the dead end of Laser. That's when you go around the passenger side and grab her.
Yeah. That is definitely
And you said you pulled it out into the field, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Now, is that, I mean, you said some inconsistencies here, so.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yes, that's what happened.
Okay. So give me a brief synopsis from the beginning to right where we are right now. Where is her body? Show me on that map.
Be that cornfield. Out in the middle of the cornfield. In that dead end.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Draw where her body is.
And in the cornfield out here. She would probably be like heading. If I had to guess, it would probably be more towards the end of it.
Oh, so you drug her quite ways.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So more like to the other end of this field.
Yeah.
Okay. So after you drag her out in the cornfield, tell me what you do again.
Drag her into the cornfield.
Thank you, Liam. I appreciate it.
Check her pulse. And check to see
Hi, Doc.
she was breathing.
Thank you for stopping by.
I kind of, freaked out a little bit. I went back to my car.
Okay.
Freaked out like a lot more. Didn't know what to do.
Yeah. Shout
in
out
my
to
car.
you. Thank you for stopping by.
And that's when I drove, kind of in the cornfield, came out.
So you didn't drag her body from the road. You actually drove your car into the cornfield.
A little bit, yeah. It wasn't too far, but
just enough for you to get back on the road.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you go. You
It's
leave
annoying
there,
me too, Valerie.
and you
I
go
don't
back to your
understand why
house.
is he smiling. He thinks
That's
this
what
is
you
funny. He thinks this is
Yeah.
a joke.
So the last you saw her,
yeah,
she is in the field.
Yeah.
And according to you, she's got a pulse, but she's not breathing.
It was hard for her to breathe, yeah.
Okay. I mean, were you at this point concerned about her well-being at all?
I really was, yeah.
Okay, all right. So did you try to give her CPR?
I don't know CPR.
Okay. Did you try any type of life-saving measures?
I wasn't thinking at the time to do anything.
And about
You wasn't thinking at the time to do anything because you wanted to kill her, and they just establishing that this was all intent for him to take her out. That's what they're establishing. This wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a fit of rage. You actually planned this out. Apparently, y'all didn't even get to the courthouse. You drove her to a spot where y'all had an argument. You punched her unconscious, and you drove her to a cornfield and did whatever you did to her. This is insane. And shout out to everyone who's coming in. Hi, William, Jen, Sandrea, Tammy. I appreciate you. Good evening to all. Please, everyone who's stopping in and stopping by, just hit the like button for me. I truly appreciate it. It definitely helps the channel. Let's go on, guys.
what time did this happen?
This was, like I said, 10:30 to 11. I picked her up. So, I was messenger for a little bit before. So, probably been like close to 12.
Okay.
Getting into 12, and then we got here.
Okay. So about what time did you dump her body?
It was about,
Hi, Ophian. Thank you for coming.
I think it was about like 12:30.
Okay. All right. And then you went back to your house and you cleaned up for a half hour.
Yeah.
Hello, Tony. Thank you for stopping
You
by.
left for work.
Yeah.
You realize, while you're being a little more honest with you, this still doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay? You hit her. While it's not a good thing,
Right.
it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Okay?
Hi, Oxy. Thank you for coming by. I
It would have
appreciate it.
been, I don't care if you know CPR or not.
Right.
I don't care if you have any first aid knowledge whatsoever.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I appreciate
You're not
it.
out in the no civilization.
Right.
You're mere minutes from Shelby, Shiloh,
Right.
places with people.
Hello,
Yeah.
man. Here,
You can
yes,
take
this is an
her
interrogation.
to get help.
Right.
Thank you
You
for
got
stopping
phones
by.
you can call.
Right. Yeah.
At the very least, if you were that concerned about it, you could have at least called and then drove off
Right.
after giving them a location.
Yeah. I should have done that. I know I
Okay.
should have.
Well, here's why I think you didn't. I think she was already dead when we pulled her out of that car and dumped her in the field.
Hello, Chelsea. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it.
I don't think anybody was at the house when I picked her up. Nobody probably saw me with her. If I just get rid of her, scrub the car down, there's not going to be
Hello, you stupid. Thank you for stopping by.
Enough people or enough information to say, yeah, I was with her this afternoon. You just figured you'd take your chances and hope nobody figured it out.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for stopping by. Shout out to Chicago suburbs.
She wasn't dead at all. But this is at 12:30. Right. And mind you, we're talking over a 12-hour time lapse here.
I appreciate you.
Okay. Today it was rainy. It was cold.
Right.
It was foggy. So you're concerned about what's going to happen if people find out you hit her.
Right, yeah.
She's still alive. But yet you just dump her in a field in this cold weather where she's unconscious. She's got more than a fair chance of freezing to death before anybody finds her. But your concern is you just don't want anybody to find out that you hit her.
Yeah.
This is where it makes no sense.
Awesome. Delaware. Shout out to Delaware. I appreciate you.
Hitting a woman. That was a big deal for me.
But you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
It's more than just hitting.
Right.
Okay? I think you're smart enough to realize that, hey, I can get her help. I can take my take my hit for domestic violence if she files charges. Take my first degree misdemeanor and go home. No big deal.
Yeah, I'll give a skincare routine. I'm an old lady, though.
As smart as you are, you'd go to that length to cover up a misdemeanor offensive violence. It doesn't make any sense.
I wasn't thinking, honestly.
She was dead when she came out of that car, wasn't she?
Last I knew, she wasn't.
She wasn't alive or she wasn't dead?
She wasn't dead.
But yet, in order to avoid possibly getting in trouble over a misdemeanor domestic violence.
Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. She said, it should be illegal for cops to interview you over 3 hours. I would like to comment in the chat. Tell me, why do you think it should be illegal? Because, I mean, it is a good tactic to use because after a while, someone would get tired. And if they want to go home, or they think that, if they tell them whatever they need, that they can get out of it, it kind of, helps their case. And if you do think that it should not be for 3 hours, what hour do you recommend? Tell me that, please. Thank you.
You left her out in the cold in an area where a passerby is not likely to see her or find her.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You've been doing good opening up and being honest about what happened here. It's time to come full circle here and tell us the last of it.
I feel old, man. Think she was dead, at least to me.
But thank you. Appreciate it.
Why don't you think she was dead?
And thank you, RJ.
I was thinking she was breathing and had the pulse.
Okay.
Maybe she was that was probably like kind of the last of what was getting to her.
Sure. So when you left at that point, you knew she was dead.
I didn't think of it or anything like that.
When did you realize she was dead?
After the fact that I was trying to check her breathing.
Mm-hmm. So, generally one punch will not knock somebody unconscious.
Right.
So.
Okay, so that's the kicker right there. When they initially asked him, they said, did you check to see if she was breathing? Did you check to, did you do anything to try to help her, assist her, wake her up, call 911? He said he didn't do nothing. He said he just left her body there. But now he's saying that he checked to see if she was breathing. Now he's saying that he knew that she was dead, but he was very adamant to say that she wasn't dead in the beginning. Not going to help his case. Really is not.
I need to know, was it one punch or was it several punches?
It was a couple of them, yeah.
How many do you think?
I don't know. I just kept kind of just going.
Okay, and this is all in the car.
Yeah.
And you're using your right hand. You're going like this.
Yeah, because I was driving with my left.
Okay. All right. So you hit her several times with your fists. Wait, with your fists, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you hit her with anything else? A club or a bag or?
I had nothing else in the car with me.
Okay. All right. So you drive around into the field, and you said you're checking for her for breath.
I agree.
At that point, did you put your hand on her mouth to cover it, to just finish it off? This is done. Come this far.
Honestly, I did put her towards her mouth more. I didn't try to cover her nose. I could feel that she was struggling to kind of get that out.
Okay, all right. So, but you knew at that point she was dead.
Pretty much, yeah. I figured that she was getting her last whatever.
Last breath, last
yeah.
Okay.
Pump of everything.
So, you can be struck multiple times with a fist. Okay, you could get knocked unconscious, but it ain't even gonna kill you.
So I got to the point where
I understand.
something like that.
It is still somewhat young.
Might have broke her nose enough to stop her from breathing.
Did you choke her at all?
No.
Did you hit her in the throat at all?
No.
So this is all just here in the face.
Yeah, most of it.
Okay. So you get her in the field and you think she's still alive, but you know she's dead.
Basically, yeah, she's getting to that point.
You knew she was dead.
Yeah.
At this point in the interrogation, the officers have convinced Alec to accompany them and show them where he had dumped Gabe's body. Alec led the officers to a remote cornfield off Laser Road between State Route 96 and Bowman Street. It was there, in the middle of the cornfield, that they discovered Gabe's lifeless body. However, the condition of her body told a far more gruesome story than the one Alec had initially provided. Gabe had been stabbed 14 times, making it clear that her death was not the result of a mere punch, as Alec had claimed earlier in the interrogation. Alec Blair was charged with the murder of Gabe Clevenger. He ended up pleading guilty to 14 charges, including aggravated murder, for the brutal slaying of his estranged wife. Alec pleaded guilty to all charges against him and was sentenced to 45 years to life in prison.
They should have gave him more time. I mean, I wish they would have gave him the death penalty. He sat up there and fabricated this whole entire lie, and then he wanted them to believe that she died from a punch to the face. And it turns out that he literally stabbed her 14 times. So mama in the chat, if she's still there, ma'am, you was absolutely correct. You did follow this case before. That's horrible. That's gruesome. And all because he was jealous and controlling, and he figured that if he can't have her, no one else can have her. And it's sad that it was the boyfriend's mom that had to put out a missing person report on her. That's a cruel way to go. That's terrible. She was trying to start her new life. She did the right thing, moved on, blocked him on everything. And he stalked her and literally found out where she was living at and ambushed her and did this. And to sit there the whole entire time in the interrogation and you're smiling and smirking and thinking it's funny and trying to get the detectives to go through a loophole of all this stuff just to come out to find out that you did everything that you did everything to her. You knew what happened to her. You really did know where she was. That's a very sad case. That is a very, very sad case. I'm really upset about that. Really, really upset about that. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. She was a beautiful woman and she had the right to, live a life without being abused and having some crazy maniac pee on her doggone clothes, pee on her floor, bust out her walls, lock her in closets and stuff like that. Like, that's just insane. Insane. All right, so guys, I have one more case for you, and I'm going to let you good folks go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. So here in this case, apparently a hidden camera captured a murder, and we're going to go over that. And thanks everyone who's talking and participating in the chat. I truly appreciate it. Whether or not if we don't agree, that doesn't matter. I love good commentary. And if you could, can you just keep hitting the likes up for me? It truly helps the channel, okay? Let's go on.
On June 18, 2018, a dramatic 911 call was received by the Boulder Police Department. The caller was an 11-year-old boy named Michael Jones, stating that he had just discovered his mother's body dead on the laundry room floor. In the background, a man can be heard screaming.
Please help me! He's not breathing! Please help me!
The police quickly dispatched Deputy Mike Perry to the scene. The footage that you're looking at now was recorded on Mike Perry's body cam. Within minutes, he arrived at the grounds of the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park at 4475 North Broadway.
Hello?
The person you are looking at, kneeling on the ground, is 47-year-old Scott Jones. The woman laying on the floor, just outside of our view, is Scott's wife, Deborah DePinto. The couple had been married for over 10 years, raising their 2 children, an 11-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter. Tragically, their son is also in the room with them.
Please help me.
Did you find her here?
I don't know.
You've got to help my wife. You've got to help my wife.
They got
my whole life, dude. Please help her. Please. Oh my God.
Take a deep breath, okay? The best people that can possibly be working on her, okay? We got paramedics on her, all right?
Oh my God.
Let's see what's going on.
Deputy Perry immediately administered CPR, and within minutes, the EMTs arrived on the scene. During this time, they couldn't help but notice Scott's strange behavior. When they asked Scott exactly what happened, Scott stated that Deborah was complaining that the laundry room was excessively warm and she found it hard to breathe, before she suddenly collapsed. He then explained that he believed that Deborah could have had a heart attack brought on by her weight or some other medical condition.
She's like 220 pounds, man. I told her, man. You gotta take care.
He would bounce back and forth between
I don't know. The picture that they showed, did she seem like an overweight person to you? Put it in the comment section. She didn't seem that overweight to me. And if she's 220, yeah, I know that seems like a very large number, but it's different if you're a taller woman, right? Like if you're a taller woman, if you're like 5'10", 5'11", 220 pounds is going to look quite different on you if you're 5'3" or 5'2". She didn't look like she was, heavily overweight. So that's kind of weird to me. But let's go on.
Emphasizing how much she meant to him, detailing her risky drug use and her unhealthy weight.
We got her.
Bro, should you hold your hand or something?
I know, but they're taking care of her right now, okay?
I don't know. Are we sure about it? Smokes that damn pipe where they heat up again and they stick it in that stuff. Oh, God. That's my whole life in there, man. That's my whole life. Oh, my God, Mama. Oh, God.
In situations where a parent just passed away, it is typical for the surviving parent to provide comfort to their child. However, in this particular case, Scott appeared to be somewhat disengaged or disinterested in his children. Given that his son was still in the room with them, officers asked about the whereabouts of his daughter. His response was, "I do not know."
That's definitely true.
I don't know.
Deborah DePinto was quickly loaded into the ambulance and rushed to Boulder's emergency center. Shortly after arriving at the Boulder Health Foothills Community Hospital, Deborah succumbed to her injuries. Although at this point there was no clear indication of foul play, the detectives asked Scott to join them in the police department following standard procedure. Detective Don Dillard of the Boulder County Sheriff's Office was tasked with leading the investigation and conducting the interview with Scott. Scott stuck to his account of the events that occurred in the laundry room that evening. According to him, Deb was grasping for air and struggling to breathe before she abruptly collapsed.
I don't know, dude. Like, she went like this. She started going like that and stuff.
He also went on to explain that although he and Deborah were separated, they had been amicably co-parenting their 2 children. Scott spoke positively of his relationship with Deb, asserting that the two had no issues and worked well together as parents. He would constantly reinforce that he loved his wife and that he had absolutely nothing to do with her death.
I love my wife and she loves me, man. And I have no idea how that went down like that today, dude.
Okay.
When she fell, yeah, she was face down, she fell.
Did something happen in that room that...
No way, man. No way.
I mean, I know accidents happen. If you're arguing, did something happen that went too far? Did she have a heart attack and die?
No, man.
The interrogation went on for several hours, and without receiving any incriminating information, the detectives were still unable to charge Scott. Exhausted and wanting to be with his children, Scott requested permission to go home.
I'm tired. I want to get my kids home. And I've answered a lot of questions. I've been very cooperative.
Within moments of Scott leaving the interrogation room, a call was received by the sheriff's office that changed the course of the investigation. Deputy Mike Perry, who was the first officer to arrive at the scene, received a phone call from the manager of the Ponderosa Mobile Home Park. The call was regarding a video that the manager had discovered on one of the surveillance cameras. The park manager quickly uploaded the video to a shared Google Drive and sent the link to the detectives.
I put up a Google Drive, I downloaded the video, it's an hour long. If you need more, I just got chills up in my spine. I couldn't watch it.
The footage he is referring to was actually obtained from a makeshift hidden camera that the manager had placed inside the laundry shed to catch people stealing. Detectives decided to set up a computer in order to play this recording for Scott. What you're about to see is the surveillance footage captured from inside and outside the laundry room shed during the moments that Deborah died.
So this is the video that we were talking about.
At around 6:50 p.m., an exterior surveillance camera captured the daughter heading to the car, while Scott and Deb made their way from the trailer towards the park's shared laundry room. At this point, it appears that the two were already engaged in a serious argument.
I thought there was some common sense with you.
Well, I thought he knew that you don't remember living in there.
He doesn't know.
I didn't. So that's why you have to tell me last night. What are you doing over there? I'm getting one. Get out of here, it's common sense. We're fighting for an hour over nothing. I'm done. We are never going to be together.
You're so cruel. Is that all you got, cruel and mean?
You're in my way.
Weird.
Now, whatever. Get away from me.
Get away from me, guys.
Oh, don't touch me, Scott. You can't force me to love you anymore. Get out of the door. I'm trapped. Get away from me. You make me feel terrible. Get away from the door.
The audio captured sounds like it could be a physical altercation, lasting for approximately 90 seconds. The confrontation concludes around 7 p.m., at which point the audio goes silent. The details of the event were still unclear. However, the audio recording captured a new sound. This time, the distinct sound of a dryer. In the background, Scott's heavy breathing was discernible, suggesting that he was likely pacing back and forth in the room. As Scott watched along, his reaction revealed a complete lack of
So it seems like he strangled her. He strangled her. He barricaded her in and he strangled her. You even heard him say, "You're done." You heard him say, "You're done." That's gruesome. And that recording That just put a shiver through my spine. Like that really did. That's insane because even if they, obviously they had arguments before, right? And she felt like she could trust him. Like they might not agree all the time. They might call each other names, but she probably never thought that he would do anything like that to her. She doesn't give off in the video of when they was walking to the laundromat. She doesn't give off that she was fearing for her life the whole entire time. She didn't give that off, right? Normally people who experiences abuse, they have subtle movements that let you know that they're scared, like something happened. They're waiting for you to hit them. They're waiting for you to smack them behind the head or something or push them. They're waiting for something to happen, right? That type of trauma, that jerk motion. She didn't have that. So that means that this man did something to her and she was completely unaware that it was going to happen. And he turned on the dryer. And I think he turned on the dryer to make it seem, try to mum out any noise that anybody heard, or maybe even his daughter, or try to fill up the space with some type of air to say that this is the reason why she's not alive anymore. But that's a true monster right there. That's a true monster right there. Let's go on.
Of awareness regarding the presence of a camera in the laundry room. He anxiously denied any involvement in the laundry room, despite video evidence clearly indicating that something terrible had occurred at that precise moment.
That doesn't prove anything, and you know that.
It shows us that something happened in that room. What's going on during that time?
The timestamp on the video recording revealed that Scott had remained in the laundry room alongside his wife's body for approximately 47 minutes before he is seen again on camera.
This entire time you're still there with her. What are you doing? Are you looking at her? Are you trying to figure out what to do next? Help me.
The video then captures a visibly distressed Scott as he exits the laundry room, walking past the camera towards the front door, then continuing to pace uneasily.
Oh my God.
It is at this point Scott finally steps out of the room. He was captured on an exterior camera as he made his way toward the camper. The footage then follows him as he returns to the laundry room, this time accompanied by their 11-year-old son, Michael.
He's gone, man. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Scott's decision to bring his son to the laundry room and see his unconscious mother seemed very unusual for a parent. From the video footage, Scott had spent almost an hour after his altercation with Deb waiting in the laundry room. It is common for individuals who find themselves in a similar situation as Scott's to deliberately craft a narrative about the incident. Scott taking his son...
Yeah, so I wanted to just stop right there. The whole reason why he went and got his son was to be strategic. Because once he got his son, he's going to call the police or the EMS, and he's going to have his son be a witness saying that he found the mother that way. That's why he waited that long. So he didn't go and get his son to be like, oh, look what I did to your mom. He's using his own son, traumatizing his own son, what he did to his mother, just to save his ass so he can have a witness. That's a sick fuck. Excuse my language, but that is a sick fuck.
To the laundry room could be interpreted as a way for him to use his son to add more credibility to his story.
Hi, young Riaz.
Mom, wake up, please. Oh, God.
Not only did Scott expose Michael to his dead mother's body, but he even went as far as to persuade Michael to call 911. At 7:56 p.m., Michael proceeded to dial 911 on Scott's phone. When asked by the dispatcher to provide more details about his mother's condition, he was heard saying, "Mom is purple. She is cool to the touch with a bruise on the bridge of her nose." The 911 dispatcher went on to ask for their address, at which time Michael handed the phone to Scott. Scott can be heard screaming, "Please help me."
Please help me! Please
As emergency units rushed to the scene, Deb's 13-year-old daughter, who had been spotted walking to Deb's car earlier, was still seated inside the vehicle. From her statement, she had received a text message asking where she was and that Mom's dead, but she did not respond due to fear. It later emerged that her brother Michael had used Scott's phone to send her the message. She said that she was not sure if the text was real, but was scared regardless. She also expressed concerns about her own safety, unsure if she would be next. Scott continued to deny any wrongdoing on his part, but with further evidence mounting caught on camera, Scott's loving attitude towards his wife began to take an interesting turn.
Hey, where do we go from here, man? I need a lawyer, don't I?
It was at this point in the interrogation that officers walked into the room and told Scott that he was being placed under arrest for the murder of his wife.
Do me a favor, stand up.
As Scott's handcuffs click into place, he says to the detective, "There's no hurry."
Do you want to keep talking to me? Because if you do, I have to read you.
Well, where do we go? Let's talk our options, discuss our options then.
This is where the pacing of the interrogation completely shifts. Instead of denying any involvement, Scott is now willing to cooperate with the sheriff's office.
But I didn't think anything through. I didn't think about anything. I just reacted. I don't know what happened. I just reacted. I don't know, man. It's nuts.
As the questioning gets more intense, Scott starts to recall moments leading up to the incident in the laundry room.
What do you mean you didn't? You just reacted. You planned it. He's not going to get first degree murder charges. He's not, right? Because I don't think it was premeditated. I didn't see that even in that video. But he is going to definitely get second degree murder, right? And on top of that, you plan to get your son involved. You plan to make your son be a witness to you that you found your wife in that state, knowing that you waited an hour before you even went to go get him. And you didn't even care about the trauma that he's enduring seeing his mother in that type of state because you needed to save yourself. And did y'all see the change, the quick change from how he was acting like some doting, loving husband and how he was talking about his wife to how it's like, well, all right, man, let's talk. Let's talk options here. It's like, what's the deal? What's the plan? Where do we go from here? It completely changed. That psycho.
But also tries to make it clear that there was no premeditation. Scott also states that Deb was a cruel person, pushing him to his limit and causing him to snap. It is possible that Scott says this with the hopes that the court will deem this as a crime done with malice but without premeditation. If a defendant is found guilty of committing a crime involving killing with malice but without premeditation, the conviction carries a lesser sentence than if it was committed with premeditation.
What happened?
I don't know. You think I am not kicking out of myself? You don't think I feel bad?
Well, I know you are.
Nah, man, it wasn't good enough. I'm taking the kids. You ain't taking my kids. Threatening me, with me, man. With me. Just couldn't stop being a monster. Couldn't stop being cruel, man. You don't know what she's done to me. You don't know the cruelty she's done, man.
They observed a change in the way Scott spoke about his wife. At first, he had described her as the love of his life, but that sentiment changed as he began to paint her as an evil person, suggesting that she provoked his momentary lapse in judgment. It also becomes clear that Scott may have been attempting to establish an insanity defense by blaming his actions on mental distress caused by Deborah's cruel treatment, likely with the aim of absolving himself from any responsibility.
I believe it makes a man temporarily insane for a minute, man, when you think about it. You know that? You don't know the troubles. You don't know the pain. You don't know what I've endured. You don't know what that woman put me through. You don't know what she did to my son. You don't know.
This shift in behavior and story reflects a common tendency amongst individuals to justify their actions and construct a story that others will perceive as believable. A fairly well-known case that contains another example.
Yeah, that's all BS, okay? We heard the video, sir. We heard the video. She told you that, listen, we're never getting back together. It's already been explained that y'all was cohabitating with each other, but y'all was not actively participating in your marriage anymore. Y'all was separated, but in the same house, living in the house to take care of the kids together. In the video, she said, listen, we're never getting back together. You was like, oh, trying to force yourself on her, trying to force her to love you, trying to force sexual interaction with her. And when she said that you disgust her and you make her feel terrible and horrible and to stop touching her, you put your hands on her and you took her life away. Like, if she was that horrible, why would you want to be with her? Just ask yourself that question. If she's that horrible, why would you want to be with her? You can walk away. You can be the one, you know what? I'm out of here, you evil, good for nothing son of a gun. I'm out of here. But that's not what you did. You wanted to control her. You didn't want her to go away. She could not say no to you. She could not leave you. That's all that shows.
Of this is the case of Chris Watts. Just hours before this moment, Chris had strangled his wife and then smothered both of his young daughters before disposing of their bodies at an oil site. The detectives are unaware that Chris did this because he had fallen in love with a new woman and needed his family out of the picture before the new relationship could flourish. After failing a lie detector test, Chris felt trapped in the evidence against him, and when the detectives gave him an alternate sequence of events, he jumped on the opportunity and confessed.
I didn't do anything.
Was it an accident?
There was no accident. I don't know if there was an accident in the house. I wasn't there for it.
It's a big deal if it's an accident, because we can work with that, Chris.
No.
And I think that's maybe what happened.
I did not cause an accident. I didn't do anything to my wife and kids.
These are your baby girls. And you have not shed one tear over them not being around. We know that something happened to all three of them. But I want to know, did something happen to these baby girls first that you had to take into your own hands and deal with?
You had to clean it up for us, Shanann.
Chris, you gotta tell us. There's something that happened to these baby girls. I feel like you cleaned up for her. I feel like that's the type of guy that you are. Did you do that to all three of them?
I did not do anything to these kids. Not do anything.
What did Shanann do to them? Tell us, Chris. Chicks are crazy.
Can I talk to my dad or something?
Absolutely.
Come.
Do you want to bring him in here?
No, I just need to talk to my dad. Like, he flew across the country.
Hey, Chris,
I can't.
how about this? If we brought your dad in here, would you please tell him what happened?
I'll step out. Okay?
Do you need a few minutes with him? Okay.
I heard like a little commotion upstairs, but I didn't think anything of it. Did she kill him? They're blue.
Both of them? Yeah. She took both of them then.
I freaked out at the same thing.
As alluded to previously, this admission was completely made up. He later admitted that his wife Shanann did not murder his children and that he snapped before committing familicide. Anyway, back to the main subject of this video. Scott had just admitted that he killed Deborah, but he was quick to create the narrative that Deborah was an extremely abusive wife, which caused him to lose his mind and murder her. Following this confession, Scott Jones was officially arrested and charged for the murder of Deborah DePinto. Scott did not enter a plea deal and was placed in custody without bond. Deborah's autopsy report later confirmed that the cause of death was strangulation. Based on the evidence presented, it appeared that Scott Jones's actions were deliberate, as there were more measures that he could have taken to prevent her death. He demonstrated no interest in stopping, and the video footage indicated that he had plenty of time to have called for help and contact 911. After being escorted to his cell, Scott appeared devoid of any remorse for his actions, a striking difference from his behavior when they first arrived at the trailer park.
You've got to help my wife. You've got to help my wife.
They got
my whole life, dude. Please help her. Please. Oh my God.
Detectives believed that this abrupt change in demeanor could undermine his claim that the act was not premeditated. Following Scott's arrest, District Attorney Adam Kendall began building a case against Scott. To lay a solid foundation, Kendall reached out to the friends and family of Deborah DePinto. His aim was to gain a deeper insight into Deborah's character and the nature of her relationship with Scott. People close to the couple characterized Scott as being overly controlling and emotionally abusive towards Deb. This behavior reportedly escalated in the final year of the relationship, with Scott threatening her on several occasions. Despite Scott's behavior, there was no signs of physical abuse. In instances of domestic violence, it is frequently observed that the abuser initially exhibits verbal aggression, which over time may escalate into physical abuse. Scott's trial began in December of 2019. During the trial, the prosecution argued that the murder was premeditated and deliberate. They also filed a motion, based upon a thorough examination of all of the evidence, that Scott should be formally charged with first-degree murder. The defense, on the other hand, claimed Scott's actions were hasty, impulsive, and reckless, and therefore should not be classified as first-degree murder. Friends and acquaintances of the couple were invited by the prosecutor to share their testimonies in an effort to demonstrate that Scott's actions were premeditated rather than impulsive. Mark Rose, a friend of the couple, testified that during a conversation with Scott in 2017, Scott spoke about Deborah leaving the marriage. Mark clarified that while Scott never directly expressed an intention to harm Deborah, the intent was clear to him from Jones's inflection, tone, and body language. Mark said it was clear what he was talking about. Another friend, Heather Pellichoud, testified that Scott said to her, "I'll whack her over the head and put her in the ground," when referring to Deborah. Another friend named Ryan Worley stated that about a week leading up to Deborah's death, he overheard Scott say that he had friends that owed him favors and could have her taken out. Not only were these testimonies damning, but the forensic pathologist Dr. Daniel Lingenfelter, who performed the autopsy on Deborah, also took to the stand to provide testimony on the full details of Deborah's autopsy. He said that it was determined that Deborah died due to what is referred to as homicidal asphyxiation, a medical term for strangulation with a possible smothering element. He concluded his analysis by stating that he couldn't totally eliminate the possibility that an element of smothering occurred. The full details of Deborah's autopsy report were actually so.
So I was gonna stop there. I was just going on the basis of the video. It seemed like strangulation. It seemed like he was muffling her, right? It seemed like he was not only was he strangling her, but he was like covering everything too as well. Like so she couldn't even take a breath or breathe out her nose as well. He was, and this is why the prosecutors are going for first degree murder due to the simple fact that now that they have witnesses and people that they used to hang out around who's given statements saying that he wanted to take her out and or do something to her or harm her, they're going to use that. They're going to use that as, hey, listen, he's been thinking about this for quite some time. That will give them the first degree element. But if you really go by it, the defense have a good case to say that it's not first degree due to the simple fact is that they were just having a regular conversation that led into an argument leading into the laundry room. He didn't like force her to go into the laundry room. It wasn't a struggle to go to the laundry room. Didn't seem like he had any intentions on harming her once they got into the laundry room. But everything that he did inside the laundry room, he wanted to do it. So let's go on. This is a very sad case. I can't it's very sad. That video and hearing that audio is quite disturbing to me. But let's go on.
Gruesome that one of the jurors fainted in court. On December 20th, 2019, Scott Jones was convicted for the first-degree murder of Deborah DePinto. He was sentenced to 48 years at the Colorado State Penitentiary. He was also sentenced to an additional year in prison for child abuse for taking his 11-year-old son, Michael, to see his mother's dead body.
That was very disturbing. I'm still like, my head is still like shaking. from hearing that audio and that scream was quite disturbing, and hearing him say that you're done. And it's just like, listen, we all know that relationships are hard. Marriages are even harder. Walk away. Do not fight for no one who don't want to fight for you. If they're not trying to fight for this relationship, don't force them to be in a relationship with you. I'm telling you, even if it doesn't turn out to horrible situations like this, why do you want someone under the roof with you that don't want to be there? Don't do that to yourself. But this man is pure evil, right? And especially what he did to his son, have his son see his mother in that way. You didn't even care about the well-being or the mental state of your son. You only cared about yourself, and it shows how controlling and how selfish you actually were in that marriage. Because look what you did to your son. Look what you did to your son. It's just sad. It's unfortunate. I'm really disturbed about that. I'm really, really, really disturbed about that. I really don't even have any words how disturbed I am with that one right there. That really hurt. That really, really hurt my feelings. Prayers to that woman, prayers to that little boy, all the counseling and therapy that he has to go through, losing both parents, losing one to a horrible crime, and losing the other one because he was selfish and inconsiderate, and he felt that he can just do whatever he wants. Now he doesn't have any parents. He doesn't have any parents at all. Well, guys, that's all I have for you. What grilled cheese? Let's say, is it pink? What is pink? What pink? What are you talking about? That's all I have for you guys, okay? I hope that you enjoy these cases. I know even though these cases are very interesting, they're quite morbid. And if you have a conscience and a soul, or you're an empathetic person, you don't like to hear people in their dire moments. I don't, right? But I do feel like these are good things that we need to go over. We can also see how things lead up to interrogation, and how also things play out in trial, right? And I just want to say thank you, everyone who was able to spend some time with me, all the people who participated in the chat with your commentary. I truly, truly appreciate you. Please make sure that you get the thumbs up and like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have anybody that likes these cases, please share with them. I will have others going forward. So I'm not going to come back tomorrow, but I will definitely try to come back on Monday to give you some more cases, guys. And I want you to enjoy the rest of your night. Have fun. Please be safe, all right? And take care. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, all right? Talk to you later, everyone. Bye-bye.